It's game time, right here, right now.
Hello and happy Friday to all of you out there, wherever you are and whenever you may be watching. Tonight's WKMC TV broadcast is a Pennsylvania Heartland Athletic Conference Division II matchup sponsored by the Mount Carmel Community Center, featuring the Mifflinburg Wildcats and the Mount Carmel Area Red Tornadoes. My name is Jim Lesko. Alongside me is my brother Dan Lesko. Jose Gonzalez supports us from the sidelines, and together we are coming to you live from Memorial Stadium in Mifflinburg, Pennsylvania on the first Friday night in September, a sunny Friday night, I might add here.
Yeah.
Now, for those of you that were with us last week, you might remember the Red Tornadoes, kind of a big deal, notched the 900th win in program history, making them the first in the state to do that, and only the 7th in all the nation, all the land, Dan.
Wow.
But that wasn't the only record that fell last week. Junior quarterback Gavin Marshallek and sophomore Jalen Delaney, they continued their torrid start so far this season, as Delaney set the single-game record for targets with 17, and most importantly, receptions with 14. Not to be outdone again, Marshallek actually had 18 completions total when combined with the 19 from week 1. Those 37 across 2 weeks were the most in Mount Carmel history in back-to-back games.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, Jim, that's phenomenal. And you talked about that connection between Marshallek and Delaney. Delaney's accounted for essentially half of Marshallek's passing yards up to this point. Delaney, 20 receptions for 200, and so over half of his completions as well. So 20 receptions for 231 yards and a touchdown. Marshallek is 37 of 60 for 482 yards and 3 touchdowns. Now, not to be outdone, Jim, as you mentioned, a lot of records fell last week, but the Red Tornadoes kind of found something that was a little lost in week 1, and that was the run game.
Yeah, he did the emergence. And it's almost unfair to say the emergence of the sophomore, because again, Cooper Kricke's a sophomore, so it is fairly new.
Yeah.
But we've seen kind of these flashes from him, and he kind of showed you what he can do when you feed him the football.
Yeah, I mean, 17 rushing attempts, 183 yards, and 2 touchdowns. It was a tremendous day all around for Kricke last week.
You see the teams come to midfield for the coin toss. So for the Wildcats first, they're going to go across left to right, 19, 62, 16, and 10. It's going to be Chad Martin, Xavier Kroll, Brian Reeder, and James Donlin. For the Red Tornadoes, we'll go the opposite, right to left. 24, Luke Blessing, again, still in his street clothes, as we wish Luke all the best in his recovery. Number 2, Matt Belichick. Number 9, Max Kricke. And 28, Al Bailey. Kricke, the game captain for week 3.
And that's a pretty prestigious order there for the sophomore Kricke, but well-deserved. I mean, he's been tearing it up through these first 2 weeks.
And so for the first time this season, the Red Tornadoes will lose the coin toss. Wildcats win. They will defer to the second half, so we will see Marshallek and company first.
And again, you know, we just mentioned the kind of the emergence of that offense, the offense in the ground game. But really, it's going to be exciting to see this offense all around get on this field right away. They have to be chomping at the bit after having such success last week, just ready to get back out here and kind of pick up where they left off.
And I think for the Red Tornadoes, while, again, we talked about the positives, Coach Dara was really honest this week with, they also had a lot of things to clean up. I believe the Red Tornadoes had 13 penalties last week. Yeah,
there was a lot of laundry on the field throughout the game last week. But yeah, it's definitely there's no matter how good a game goes, there's always going to be things to clean up. I'm sure Coach Dara also focused on run defense as well. And they gave up a good bit of ground yardage last week against the stout Central Columbia rush offense. You know, there's not taking anything away from Central Columbia, but that's definitely going to be an area of focus moving forward. Is going to be trying to clean that run defense up. But it's going to be another week that we get to see these electrifying returners, Jim. I'm excited to see how things get started here.
Cricky and Morganti back deep for the Red Tornadoes. Kimsel in that second line. Kimsel had the 4th longest punt return ever in Mount Carmel history last week, an 88-yard return. Talk about that should he get an opportunity to do so later in the game. Kicking off for the Wildcats is Diego Herrera. So we will see that Wildcat defense first. We'll talk about them in just a second as we are underway here at Memorial Stadium. Going to be a shorter kick. Cricky will take it about the 14-yard line. It'll be tackled immediately. That's by number 5, Landon Moser. After a short return, it'll be 1st and 10 Red Tornadoes around the 25.
Yeah, that's a really good job, Moser, kind of knifing through the kick return team there of the Red Tornadoes. And Karicki was trying to find some space, but because that kick ended up a little bit shorter than anticipated, not a whole lot of room before he had Wildcat defenders on him.
So, Dan, while we have a second here, talk to me about this defensive setup. I don't know that we've seen a setup like this, or we will see a setup like this much this season.
I mean, Jim, this is a 3-5. You've got 8 guys in the box here, 3 defensive backs. It's a very tough to run against, but if you can find a way, you can throw against it.
And that's where Marshall and Delaney made their bones last week, as he picks up 1st down on the first play of the game for the Red Tornadoes, a gain of about 14.
We get a screen to Delaney here. That's gonna be a good move.
And that time it's a fake. They fake the screen, and it's Karicki across midfield, and the Red Tornadoes are 2 for 2 with plays and 1st downs.
Yeah, but Jim, you have a trip set out here against one Wildcat defender. I mean, the Red Tornadoes are going to have to take a look at that and really try to exploit it. They're sending a linebacker out to kind of split the difference, but they're going to be able to make some hay.
Marshall
openings.
He's got Karicki again in the middle of the field, and it'll be a little short, I believe, of the 1st down. But nevertheless, the Red Tornado offense keeps rolling, and Marshall stays upright and clean. We'll talk about that offensive line as we go throughout the night.
Yeah, O-line's doing a great job so far, and Marshall's able to get the ball out of his hands quickly. It looks like he's going through his progression, got to his check down there, which was huge.
Karicki gets a good block on the outside from Delaney, and another one from Belichick. He'll be down inside the 25. We'll see exactly where they knock him out of bounds. It's going to be about the 20. Let's see where they mark it. I think they're going to mark that at the 27-yard line, 1st and 10, Mount Carmel.
And he was able to step through a tackle there as well. The 23, Jim, 23.
Marshall to Delaney again. He gets a good block from Adams and Bailey. Stays on his feet down to the 20.
Yeah, and realistically, Jim, the only way that you can run this defense with success is if you have a lot of faith in your linebackers, especially your outside linebackers, to move laterally well. And on that play, they did a really good job kind of rallying to the football there.
And there, Marshall used a hard count for the first time. We've got our first flag of the night, but it looks like it was the Red Tornadoes that moved first. It'll cost them 5. Back to the 22. But again, we're about a minute and a half into this game, and the Red Tornadoes have moved the ball fairly quickly with 10:34 left in the first.
Yeah, this is a lot of speed on this team, and they speed up to the line and onto the ball.
It's Karicki again, and a great play made by the outside linebacker slash quarterback slash do everything, Chad Martin.
Yeah, Martin's a big kid, Jim. He gets into that backfield quickly there, untouched, and Karicki, was trying to find some space there, and it gave Martin plenty of time to get in there and wrap him up in the backfield.
Marshall's got his first 3rd down, and he's got Belichick open. Belichick has to get around Griffith. He puts his shoulder down, and he gets through one tackler. He's going to should have a 1st down for the Red Tornadoes, so a great job there by number 1, Chase Belichick.
Yeah, and Jim, the Wildcats brought a little bit of pressure this time, right in Marshall's face up the middle. He did a great job standing in there, getting that ball out quick. Took a shot under the chin right afterwards, but delivered a nice pass.
It's Karicki again off the left side, and he cuts across the middle, and he's in for a touchdown. Mount Carmel, 10 yards. Cooper Karicki at 6-0 here at Memorial Stadium with 9:49 left to go in the first quarter.
And Jim, that's how quickly that team can score. And that wasn't one big play. That was a drive that they put together, but that hurry up offense that they employ and they continue to go back to just moves them down the field so quickly, especially when you get in a rhythm.
75-yard drive again in just over 2 minutes. Joppy's kick is up and good. It'll be 7-0 Red Tornadoes.
Now we'll see. You know, just as quick as we got to see that Red Tornadoes offense out there, we'll get to see that Red Tornado defense and that Wildcat offense, and see how they respond to that fast first drive that ended in points for the Red Tornadoes.
Quick. That was quick. But again, so Kricky picks up right where he left off, and really so did Marshall and Delaney.
Yeah, yeah.
If we're being honest.
Yeah, Belichick did some work on that drive there as well.
Well, we talked
really
about
nice job.
We talked about Belichick a little bit last week, and really, I mean, if you look at the numbers on the season coming into tonight, he had 6 catches for 34 yards. But where he was adding so much value is as a blocker.
Yeah.
And for him to be willing to do that, and really, he's just, I think we said it last week, that's a hard hat in a lunchbox kind of guy.
Oh, yeah, absolutely is. And he continued to do it on this past drive. Got the big first down there on that 3rd and long, you know, which turned into 6 points for the Red Tornadoes.
Shoppy's kick. Going to be fielded about the 15. That was by Donlin, and Donlin gets a good return over the 35. Marking down at about the 38-yard line.
Yeah, Max Karicki on the tackle there. Thankfully, because you're right, Donlin seemed like he found a crease initially and got upfield. Karicki did a good job kind of peeling off and making that tackle and stopping what could have been a big return.
Speaking of big, again, you see Martin in the backfield. That's Radwell Susan to his right. It'll be Cole Ribzone to the sideline side. It's going to be Susan up the middle of the right side. He's going to run right into Ben Miller, the Red Tornadoes' leading tackler, with 25 after 2 weeks.
Jimmy, you see number 15, Clokus, in there to start the game off for the Red Tornadoes. It's the first time we've seen him in there in a starting role at that inside linebacker spot. He was the first man on scene that kind of made Susan have to cut back in the backfield.
Clokus had 7 tackles last week. And 2nd and 9. Martin looking, he throws it high.
Ooh.
Through the hands of Murray. And Lukuski might have had a shot on it, but Martin had a little zip on that ball.
Yeah, he did. He definitely, and he got it out just in time too, because I believe that was Belichick bearing down on him with some pressure from the backside.
Yeah, that Red Tornado defensive line, again, it's going to go Kricky, Shimko, and Belichick, but there'll be some rotation throughout the night on there. We mentioned Miller and Clokus, those 2 inside backers. Lukoski and Morganti are kind of the inside corners, if you want to call them that, outside DNs, whatever you want to call them, Dan.
Red Tornado's going to showing some pressure here.
And Martin's under pressure from Morganti immediately. He's going to throw it across the field. It's incomplete. He was targeting Jackson Griffith. It's not a bad ball across his body, but the Red Tornadoes were in good coverage, and it'll be 4th down. No,
that's a really good throw kind of on the scramble drill there by Martin, but great job in the secondary by the Red Tornadoes. They know that they're sending some pressure. There's not going to be a whole lot of help underneath. The pressure gets there, flushes Martin, and everybody stayed in really good coverage in the backfield.
Now, as we said, Kimsel and Delaney back deep. Kimsel, an 88-yard punt return for a touchdown last week. This one's going to be Delaney on a hop at about the 23, and he's in the alley, and he takes a shot. My goodness, he ran right into a brick wall there, but
And that brick wall was named Radwell Susan.
I thought so.
That was a big. Delaney got to full speed too and hit Radwell Susan, who was also at full speed, and that was a rock meeting a hard place there.
Number 75, Landon Tucker, was in there as well to kind of finish it off, but that's when I said a brick wall. It was Susan. That's exactly who it was. Now that Red Tornado offensive line, we've talked about him before. Again, still missing Logan Erb, still from the sidelines. Marshal's going to get it out to Delaney quick. He's going to get 2 blocks, and there is a flag that's going to come back. It's going to be against the Red Tornadoes. But again, that's
a tough one there for the Red Tornadoes. The hold, because I believe that it appeared that the player that got held was out of the play essentially at that point. So that's a tough one. But again, that's, I mentioned it on the first drive. They did it on the other side on the first drive. Now this time around, they go to the home field side, to our near side, and there's room there for Delaney. There's a lot of room there.
And again, a big part of that, the Red Tornado offense is designed to get the ball out of Marshallock's hand quickly. But again, it'd be remiss not to acknowledge that big offensive line. Again, they're going to go left to right. That's Delaney. That's Spears. That's, that's Delaney, Spears, Demko, Shiganowski, and Shimko. And it's Kricki. And Kricki gets another good block from Belichick as he's able to get up over the 40. It's going to depend on the spot. He should have a first down.
Yeah, it looks like he is. He's going to be right at the marker. I think they're going to give it to him. Oh, just behind the marker. Either way, really nice run by Kricki there.
Red Tornadoes look for the hard count there. You get a little motion from the Wildcats, but no infraction.
Yeah, see, the motion came from the second level, which is why there was no. See, if the Red Tornadoes want to get that call, they're going to have to react on the offensive line.
Kricki again off the left side will have the first down. It's like he's met by 16, Brian Reeder, and number 5, Landon Moser. Yeah,
and that one didn't need the free 5. Just give it to Kricki and let him get his first down. But we see a lot of that Red Tornado offensive line is doing a tremendous job against this like 3-3 stack that they kind of have going on right now.
Marshallock's got Delaney, and he throws him a perfect ball, but you'll notice we're not as excited because I do believe the Red Tornadoes moved early, and this is going to come all the way back. As it is right now, it's a 51-yard touchdown pass, but yes, there was motion early on the Red Tornado sideline.
Yeah, that's a tough one there for the Red Tornadoes because that's that post route to Delaney. You kind of lull the defense to sleep with the quick outs and the quick screen passes, and then you finally, Marshallock's going to have enough time back there. You give him the time to set up and get that ball out in front of Delaney, and that guy's going to get behind a lot of defenses with the speed that he has.
It'll be a 5-yard penalty against the Red Tornadoes. It'll be 1st and 15. I believe that's 3 against the Red Tornadoes already, and we're only at the 8. We're not quite at the 8-minute mark yet here in the first quarter.
Yeah.
Single receiver to the left is Adams. There's a hard count again, but to Dan's point, that motion's coming from the second level. That was Martin and Reeder.
Jim, this reminds me of Selinsgrove's defense from about 10, 12 years ago. They run it's like a 3-3 stack in the middle.
Marshallock under pressure, and he goes down. That looks like it's going to be number 50, Big Mason Schneck on the sack. Yeah, but there was pressure applied from multiple places that forced Marshallock to climb the pocket.
Yeah, and it looked like they were trying to run essentially the same play they just ran to Delaney, but they were trying to run it to Belichick down the seam to the post.
Damn.
And it was there. Belichick was there. Just the pressure got there this time.
Well, Dan, I think as the night goes on, we got to explore that a little bit more. You talked about Selinsgrove and why that's effective in here, and how difficult it is to identify who's coming and who's not.
Yeah.
That's a tough ball from Marshallock and a great effort by Belichick to get across midfield to about the 46. It's going to bring up, what is it going to be, about
3rd and 4? Yeah, I think so.
It's closer to the 45 than I initially thought. But that ball had to travel a long way from Marshallock.
It did, and initially from our angle, out of Marshallock's hand, it looked like it was going to go a little high. But that's just how far the ball had to go.
Now the Red Tornadoes tighten up a little bit here, and Max Kricki in there at tight end on the other side. But Kricki has nowhere to go, and again, that's Martin and Reeder. And I told you, Martin does a little bit of everything.
Yeah, and that's again, I'll keep mentioning that Selinsgrove defense because this is exactly what they do. As you mentioned, Jim, you don't know where the pressure's coming from, but with that 3-3 stack, you got the linebackers coming up. They're tapping the coordinated defensive lineman that's in front of them and telling them, hey, I'm coming this way. And that's all they have to do. It's just a nonverbal communication and they're able to get pressure from a lot of different areas that way.
4th and 4, the Red Tornadoes are going to go. Marshalek's going to throw. He's looking. He's got Karicki, but it was tipped. But Karicki still had a shot at it. Now, there's a little contact. Maybe he got there early, maybe not, but it doesn't matter because the ball's tipped at the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, and that's a big stop there for the Wildcats. They hold defensively there, and essentially the Red Tornadoes give 7 points up on that drive.
So it'll be interesting to see how the Wildcats respond here. Again, it's going to be 1st and 10 from their own 45. Good field position for Martin and company as they look to get started.
So now Mifflinburg come out wide open, 2x2, 2 receivers either side as Chad Martin out of the gun.
Martin's going to keep it himself. And a nice job there. We'll see who that is. I think that's Belicic.
Yes, it is.
Getting up off the bottom of the pile. And Klokas and Shimko there as well, but certainly Belicic made the good business decision to go low on Martin.
Yeah, Belicic coming from that outside linebacker / defensive end spot, kind of stepped up, squeezed down the line, didn't allow Martin the outside release there to get to the sideline. And when Martin made this decision to stick it inside, Belicic was right there to make the stop.
So it's 4 wide. Now there's going to be a little bit of a shift here. So it's 4 to the left, the single receiver to the right. Martin's looking down the field, and he's got it. That's number 31, Landon Murray, and Murray is in. Well, he fumbled the football.
That's going to come back anyways, Jim.
We're waiting to see. I did not see a touchdown, so hold on now.
Okay.
So there's a lot of stuff going on. There's a legal shift against the Wildcats, but the officials did not signal touchdown. I believe the Red Tornadoes may have stripped Murray in the end zone and recovered, so there may be a conversation here.
It appears that there is no conversation. They're bringing the ball back to walk off the illegal shift penalty. So I'm thinking that they were probably going to call that one a touchdown. I'm not sure how close it was.
I can't tell from the angle, but it was. I was watching kind of the far official, and you would think you usually see the touchdown signal, whether it was, the play was
right.
Dead on arrival or not. So a little bit of excitement here. 5:39 left in the first quarter. 7-0 Red Tornadoes. Wildcats face a 2nd and 15. Martin to throw again. He's got time, and he's got Murray again. This time he's out to the right side. He'll get over the 45. It's going to bring up 3rd and about 6.
Yeah, we'll see. Now it's a big 3rd down here for the Wildcats early on in the game. If they're able to convert this 3rd down and kind of turn this, continue this drive offensively, I think it would be big. You don't want to give that ball back to that tough Red Tornado defense. You get a stop, you got to capitalize and get some points.
Susan came to the sideline. Marr heads in. Martin to throw. He's under pressure immediately. He's going to stand up. It's going to be Karicki. Martin still on his feet.
Wow.
Kimsel's going to drag him down, but my goodness, Martin should have lost 3 or 4 yards on that play, and he ended up gaining 3 or 4.
Yeah, I mean, that looked like there was that looked like Martin was going to be sacked well behind the line of scrimmage.
And it makes the 4th down decision. I think it changes the calculation. If you lose a couple yards there and you're looking at 4th and 10, maybe you definitely punt it. But now, well, it'll be 4th and a long 4, so the Wildcats are going to punt.
Yeah.
So Schenk is standing at his own 39. The ball is actually in Red Tornado territory. Nice high kick from Schenk. Kimsel's just going to get out of the way. And it'll be downed inside the 20. It'll be downed at the 20, it looks like. So that's where the Red Tornadoes will start. Again, they lead 7-0 with 4:43 left in the first quarter.
And, Jim, this is something that we're not used to seeing from the Red Tornadoes. Now, we are used to seeing the Red Tornadoes put pressure on the quarterback, but they usually do it with their down 4 or 5 linemen. They're bringing guys from the second level. They're bringing extra pressure, and I think that's just to kind of combat how much, respect they have for Martin back there as a quarterback, his escapability and his prowess with putting the ball in the air.
It's going to be Karicki again. The Red Tornadoes came out in a trips formation to the left there, and they give it to Karicki up the middle. I think Looks like the Red Tornadoes are trying to move some of those linebackers out of the way.
Yeah, I mean, you have to. Just, again, not knowing where they're coming from makes it very difficult.
Now they got Delaney. We'll have to see where he stepped out of bounds. He's going to be close to a first down. I think he's going to be maybe a yard short if I can see the official correctly.
Yeah, and again, these Wildcat defensive backs and that second level, the linebackers, they move really well laterally because it looks like there should be so much room for the Red Tornadoes skill guys out on the edges. And they're stringing them out to the sidelines and not giving up a whole lot.
It's Cricky again. He'll have the first down up around the 34-yard line, so good play design there to get Cricky in a little bit of space, and he did what was needed. Again, the right side of that offense, that Shaganowski and Shimko provided enough space there for Cricky to have some success. And Marshalik, and that's a good ball to Belichick. It falls incomplete, but Marshalik throws that away from the defender to give Belichick a chance.
Yes, he did, because the defender was right on Belichick's back. That's number 2, Jackson Griffith, in coverage, and he is in great coverage. I mean, those quick hitches, they usually turn into big plays because there's a lot of cushion there. Griffith's not giving Belichick any room.
It's Cricky again. Marshall keeps,
and the ball's out.
Luckily for the Red Tornadoes, they're going to fall on it right there. I think that's Bailey.
I think so.
But honestly, Marshall held on to that one, or kept that one in Cricky's belly so long, I thought Cricky had it.
So did I, Jim, and I thought that was going to be a large loss for the Red Tornadoes if Cricky had that ball because of the pressure provided by the interior of the Wildcats defense.
Short gain, better than a big loss, but it does bring up third down. Now Delaney has it, and he's going to be short. Well, it's going to be closer than I thought. It is a first down. Oh, my goodness. Okay. It's a big play on 3rd and 8.
Yeah, and a good job by, we mentioned the speed of Delaney and how well he's been doing in the receiving core there. But it's tough. He's not a really big guy. Standing in there over the middle, making a big catch and getting a first down is huge.
There's Cricky for you. Now Cricky's got the edge. Cricky bounced outside. He stays on his feet. He gets inside the 30-yard line. And that's the explosiveness that Cricky brings to the table, and that's why you'll see the Red Tornadoes continue to try to get him the football in space.
Yeah, Cricky gets up to speed faster than a Mustang out
really
there.
Fast.
Really fast, yeah.
Marshall gives the little pump fake. He's looking for Bailey. Incomplete. Al Bailey living every fullback's dream out there on a go route.
Yeah, you gotta love. You always love getting the opportunity out there. That one just a little too long for Bailey.
But a nice little shoulder pump there from Marshall. But it's going to be 2nd and 10. 3 minutes left in the first quarter. 7-0 Red Tornadoes. The ball sitting right around the 27-yard line. And now it's a little pitch to Cricky. Cricky's inside, he's outside, and he's going to be slung down. Oh my goodness, Landon Moser, that's some pretty significant hand strength.
Yeah, yes it is.
He just reached out and threw him to the ground.
Yeah, Cooper Crick's not a big kid, but moving at that rate of speed, it is impressive to be able to stop him with just your hands.
So Belichick by himself. It's Adams and Delaney to the left. Bailey in at that tight end spot. It's going to be Cricky again. He makes the first 2 Wildcats miss, but a nice sure tackle made by John Parker Marr around the 15-yard line.
And Jim, looking at the way things are going here for the Red Tornadoes, I think moving forward in this game, later on in this game, late second quarter and into the second half, I think they're going to find a lot of open space over the middle in the passing game with the linebackers kind of moving around so much back there. They're going to be able to find a lot of room.
Red Tornadoes went really tight there, handed it to Bailey. Bailey didn't move for half a second because he ran into the back of the line, saw some space on the left side, bounced outside, and picked up probably 9 yards.
Yeah, it was a really nice job there.
So the Red Tornadoes said if once is good, twice is better. Bailey's inside the 5 now. It'll be 1st and goal for the Red Tornadoes. Got about 90 seconds left here, 94 to be exact, in the first quarter.
And we'll see. The Red Tornadoes going to stay tight, as they should.
And they're going to dress it up a little bit with Kimzel, but the Wildcats aren't surprised by that one, and Martin is going to drop Bailey in the backfield for that in that play, I think.
Yeah, that was a really good play there by Martin. Looked like Bailey tried a little hop step, but Martin did a good job of staying on his feet and taking Bailey's out from underneath him.
So now it's 2nd and goal from, looks like the nose of the football's inside the 5-yard line. Marshalek's got Delaney. It's a touchdown. 4-yard pitch and catch. Marshalek to Delaney. So with 51 seconds left in the first quarter, it's 13-7 Red Tornadoes.
And Jim, that's a back shoulder fade. Delaney's out there, single coverage. That ball could go to the back corner, but Marshalek saw the leverage of the defender and made a read and threw that ball to the pylon instead, to the front pylon rather than the back pylon. And it turned out well. And that's those two guys being on the same page there as well, which is huge.
So we've got a stoppage here. Not sure what is. The official just stopped the play and sent Tate Adams to the sideline. I'm not sure why.
Yeah.
Gavin Demko is going to step back and hold. So something to see here. It's a good job by Demko getting that down, but Shoppy's going to pull that one a little bit to the left, so that one will fall. It'll be no good. It'll be Shoppy's first miss of the season, but it's 13-0 Red Tornadoes.
Yeah, and I think that one's just too much time to think about it for Shoppy. You know,
yeah.
The little delay there, still a little befuddled as to what it was that caused Tate Adams to be removed for that play.
Yeah, the official was very demonstrative. I mean, he pointed at him and kind of was like, "You're out."
Yeah,
It was very direct. So I'm not sure. You know, again, we don't want to speculate, but was it a uniform, an equipment thing? Was there something going on? The official noticed and said, "Hey, you can't be out here." Set up like that.
Yeah, we'll have to.
Hopefully, whatever it is, the Red Tornadoes can sort it out on their sideline, and we can see Adams on the next drive.
Yeah, and also whoever it is watching out there, maybe you guys were able to see it.
Well, Adams is out here for the kickoff team, so whatever it was got resolved.
Yeah.
So Shoppy will kick. Again, it looks like he's going to be kicking to, again, that's 31 Murray, Landon Murray, and I think that's number 8, Ian Stoltzfus.
That is.
So that second line is John Parker Mars closest to us. Can't quite see the jersey number of the gentleman. Or that might be Donlin. I think that was where Donlin was set up last time.
Yep.
So Shoppy's kick. It's going to be a good high kick. It's going to be Murray at the 9. He's going to get upfield, get to the left, and he's still on his feet. Now he's got some space. Now Crick is going to try to run it down. Adams isn't going to get him. Shoppy can't get him. It's going to be Murray, and that's going to be a 91-yard kickoff return for a touchdown. Oh, my goodness, what a play.
Yeah, Jim, Murray saw what Donlin saw on the previous kick return. He said, hey, if it worked for him, I've got a little bit more blockers in front of me. Maybe it'll work for me too, and it did. He got up in that seam in the middle and then worked his way to the sideline, made a couple of Red Tornadoes miss, and then outran them all to the end zone. It was a great return.
And honestly, I mean, I think at any given point, you know, the man with the football has the ability to make some guys miss. And certainly at this level, guys are talented enough to do that. But what's most shocking to me is he outran Adams and Karicki.
Yeah, yes, he did. He hit a second gear there, and he went.
Diego Herrera drills that extra point through, and it's 13-7 here, a mere 17 seconds after the Red Tornadoes scored. So tonight's WKMC TV broadcast, again, sponsored by the Mount Carmel Community Center. I want to thank them for their support. I want to thank all of you out there for your support. As we are here again, look at the sideline, at the bleachers. on the Mount Carmel sideline, full of the red and white. A lot of folks made the trip. For those of you that didn't, we're happy you're with us here. Some of you are probably sitting at home getting ready. We got about another 30 minutes until the Eagles kick off. All right, Eagles and Packers in Sao Paulo. I think that's 8 p.m. tonight.
Yes.
So that'll be interesting to see as well. Now we get to see that Red Tornado offense yet again, which again should have some momentum. That sun went down quick, Dan. I was thinking about that before.
It did. We really didn't have to deal with it too much into this game. It's kind of nice now. It's a nice little, and with the sun, the temperature has dropped dramatically, and it's gotten nice and pretty comfortable in here.
So Herrera will kick off for the Wildcats. Again, it's Kimzel back deep with Morganti instead of Cricky this time. Again, Cricky ran his tail off between the last drive and the kick return, so perhaps getting a little blow. And this is going to be Kimzel at about the 12. We'll see if there's any magic at number 4. And oh my goodness, now he's got the space. And the Red Tornadoes are going to answer Murray's kickoff return with one of their own. It's Kimzel for the second week in a row. He takes some sort of a kick to the house, and it's 19-7 Red Tornadoes. That's about another 88-yard kick return for a touchdown.
Wow. Wow. Just trading special teams touchdowns here in Mifflinburg.
My goodness.
This is just a phenomenal game here so far.
So I think that's 3 scores in about 29 seconds of gameplay here. I think the Red Tornadoes started this off right around 51 seconds. It's a good snap, a good hold. And again, with his buddy Tate back, Shoppy drills that, and I think he kicked that over the fence.
He's perfect with Tate Adams holding for him.
I think he kicked that out of the stadium.
There's houses down there too. That's a dangerous spot down there. Somebody's sitting in there.
Might be paying for a window.
Somebody sitting in their backyard watching the game might have gotten themselves a souvenir out there.
So again, it seems like we've done this a lot lately, with 22 seconds left now. 20-7 Red Tornadoes. As now we'll see Shoppy and kickoff team. Can be Donlin, could be Murray, could be Marr, could be Stoltzfus. A lot of excitement in that Wildcat return side.
And there wasn't a lot of time for the Red Tornado kickoff team to kind of, sit on giving up that kick return touchdown. Right. So we'll see an extended huddle over there for the Red Tornadoes, though. Just reminding guys to stay in your lanes. Got to close off the middle of the field. That's where it seems to be where the Wildcats want to go.
So we'll see here if the Red Tornadoes do anything different. Again, we got some other games from around the area we'll cover as we get into them tonight. A lot of games being played. I think we've got Mount Carmel's rival, Shamokin, looking to start 3-0 for the first time in, I believe, 2 decades.
Wow.
So we'll give some updates on those in the second half. But for right now, Shoppy's kick is going to be Murray at about the 11. And Morganti had the first shot at him, but it's going to be a good tackle by Kimzel.
Yeah.
Finished off by Clokus. It'll be 1st and 10, as we'll finally see an offense again.
Yeah,
It'll
right.
be 1st and 10 Wildcats just outside the 30, just across the 30.
Yeah, 3 changes of possession before we can see a team line up and take a snap under center.
Yeah, no real changes for the Red Tornadoes out there. It's Delaney and Lukuski at the corners, Belichick and Kimzel, the other safeties. And more of the same for the Wildcats as well. But with 15 seconds left in the first quarter, Coach Botts is going to take his first time out of the half.
Jim, it seems like we'd have to check the clocks and stuff over the past 3 weeks, but it seems like all these games are in competition for longest first quarter that we've had so far this year. A lot of long first quarters, a lot of scoring, a lot of penalty stoppages.
It's different reasons, right?
Yeah,
I think week 1 and week 3 so far have been points.
yeah.
I think Schuylkill had a couple successful drives. The Red Tornadoes had one up there in week 1. Obviously tonight there's a lot going on, but last week was penalties.
Yeah.
Boy,
right.
oh boy.
Yeah, I feel like tonight it's kind of a combination of both penalties and points.
I don't know about you guys, but I was watching that Chiefs-Ravens game last night as they called penalty after penalty on Ronnie Stanley, and I couldn't help but think about the Red Tornado game last week when there was an illegal motion on every play on both teams throughout that first quarter.
You're right.
It was the officials decide they're going to make a point about a particular call. And Radwell Susan's going to make a point about lowering his shoulder and getting close to the 35. It's like Clokus and Belichick getting up off the bottom of the pile.
Yeah, and you're right. Susan puts his shoulder down and gets moving. But that's a really good job by the interior of the Red Tornado defense to make stop.
It's going to end the first quarter here at Memorial Stadium in Mifflinburg as the visiting Red Tornadoes lead the Wildcats 20-7 in week 3 of the 2024 season. So again, we talked about it. This is a Pennsylvania Heartland Athletic Conference Division II matchup. Your WKMC TV broadcast was sponsored tonight by the Mount Carmel Community Center, so we thank them for their support and patronage. For those of you, again, if you didn't make the trip out to Mifflinburg, you've been treated to a pretty exciting first quarter.
Yeah, definitely been exciting.
Because I think, Dan, and we can talk about all the different things and all the different stats and updates that Jose provides us, kind of not just in the middle of the game, but even throughout the week.
Yeah.
As we kind of have questions. So for me, the question becomes right now, and I know Jose will listen on Wednesday, and he'll get back to us at some point during the week. But when's the last time a Red Tornado returned to some sort of a kick for a touchdown in back-to-back weeks?
That's definitely a good one. I think it's more recent than we think, than you might think.
Well,
I want to say.
Good news about having a guy like Jose is you don't have to think.
Yeah, that's very true.
He'll be able to help us.
But now you have me kind of racking my brain trying to figure it out.
So 2nd and 7 for the Wildcats. Martin turns to Susan again off the left side, and he runs right into Kricky. Belichick's going to come and hold him up, and then the rest of the cavalry will come, including Morganti, but that's Kricky all the way to start that play.
Yeah.
I should say stop that play.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's a good job there by the Red Tornado defense, kind of holding up and just showing the Wildcats that if you want to have success offensively, you're not going to do it in between the tackles on the ground.
Red Tornadoes will swap out Morganti and Bailey there, a little extra, maybe a little more pass rush. Oop. And then just as quickly you said, actually, we're going to go with the coverage.
Well, I think the Red Tornado defense saw the Wildcat substitution there, and then not substitution.
Martin to throw, and he throws a rocket to Griffith, and that's a great catch by number 2 Jackson Griffith, because Delaney's in really good coverage.
Yeah,
but that's a laser coming out of that big arm at 19.
Yes, it was, and good job of Martin getting that off just in time, because as he let that ball go, Max Karicki's arm went past Martin's arm. He had gotten pressure off the edge, but this is just a great pitch and catch. I mean, that's a phenomenal job. And again, tremendous coverage by Delaney. He even swiped at the ball, but he just reeled it in.
Martin back to Susan. Susan just fights and fights. He'll get across the 35, down to about the 33 maybe, but my goodness.
And Jim, Radwell Susan is, I mean, looking at him out there in the huddle, it's kind of funny. He's 5'4", 168 pounds, but between his height and the way he runs, he's got such a low center of gravity. He's able to keep those legs moving, and make guys miss. He gets lost in that offensive line.
I think a lot of people would get lost behind that offensive line. There's some big kids there, and none bigger than the guy taking the snap and rumbling upfield as Martin is going to get inside the 30. See where they mark him down. It's going to be about the 28-yard line, so bring up maybe 3rd and 3.
Yeah. So now we'll see here. The third down's been a predominantly passing down, but the Wildcats have usually been in 3rd and long situations. 3rd and short here. See if they stick with Martin or maybe Susan to try to get that first down here.
It's always nice too if Coach Botts knows this is 4-down territory for him. You can always try something here on 3rd and short as well. And it's Susan, and Susan's got the first down. There's some space in the middle of the field, inside the 20. A great job blocking there on the inside by that Wildcat line.
Yeah, really good job, and a good job by Susan, just kind of reading his blocks and feeling his way through. He initially looked like he was just going to put his shoulder down and try and get that first, but then he saw he had some open space and kept his composure, cut back inside, and got a little bit more.
So again, we also wanted to point out the fullback is number 75, Landon Tucker. So when that backfield starts moving forward, there's a lot of guys moving forward. A lot of big, strong guys.
Yeah.
And Susan took a shot there from Clokus.
Yes, he did.
Looks like Karicki had him down low, and Clokus came over the top. But still, he picked up about 6. And now the Red Tornadoes are going to call a timeout because they don't seem to enjoy what's happening on this drive. So at the 8:39 mark of the second quarter, it's 20-7 Mount Carmel.
Yeah, Jim. I mean, this is something I kind of mentioned at the outset. You know, the run defense of the Red Tornadoes, and then I, kind of had to put my foot in my mouth here because at the beginning of the drive, I mentioned how the Wildcats weren't going to be able to run the ball between the tackles, and then outside of that, now the big 3rd down completion. Outside of that, they've had some success running the ball between the tackles on this drive. But that's again, that had to have been a point of emphasis this week in practice, is the run defense for this Red Tornado team. And again, it doesn't help knowing that Martin can sling it too. You know what I mean? You have to kind of commit guys to coverage, or you're gonna get beat over the top.
Yeah.
So
Martin
it's a tough decision to make.
Martin doesn't have a phenomenal completion percentage across 2 weeks, but he has thrown it 64 times.
Wow.
So that's Marshall-like, right?
Yeah.
Marshall's thrown it 60 times. So, and I'm sure there's folks out there that think he throws it a lot.
Yeah, it's true.
So Mar goes in motion, but it's Susan again. It's going to be slowed down initially by Karicki, but Bailey and, again, Clokus are in there. And it looked like Susan kind of got ripped backwards there as I saw Karicki grab that jersey.
Yeah. Yeah, he did. And I mean, that was enough to slow him up and allow the cavalry to come in and make that tackle for, really no gain, which is big here for the Red Tornadoes. Now, third and medium here for the Wildcats.
Martin, play action. He's looking for Griffith, and he's got him. It's a little high, incomplete. He had good coverage by Delaney again, and Belichick was coming over the top, so it'll be 4th and 6 around the 13-yard line for the Wildcats.
And, Jim, this is where, the Red Tornadoes are doing a good job toughening up against the run, because it's always harder to throw in a tighter area down here closer to the end zone. You get in that red zone. If you're at midfield and Martin makes that throw, the receiver can just continue his route and maybe go get that one. He knows where he's at on the field, has to kind of stop, and it sails.
Murray in the backfield, and they're going to pitch it to him, and he's not going to get there. He's going to be short.
Yes, he is.
So on 4th down, the Wildcats opt to run a sweep to Murray, and the Red Tornadoes answer the call and turn them away.
I mean, it's a good play call. There was a lot of blockers out there in front of Murray, but the Red Tornadoes did a great job just rallying and making a big stop.
Now Red Tornadoes employ a little bit of a bend but don't break defense there, and we'll see how they respond offensively. Adams and Delaney are split out to the field side. Belichick's by himself to the sideline. Kimzel in the backfield with Marshalik. Directly behind him, a little bit of a pistol almost. And it's going to be Kimzel. And he'll get out to maybe the 10-yard line. Give him a yard or two tops as the Wildcats lie in wait.
Yeah, we'll see now. It's, getting close to that midway point here. About 4.5 minutes into the second quarter. There's still a decent amount of time left. There's no need to rush, but you see the Red Tornadoes, they get a first down here and then maybe try and throw one over the top.
Adams is out here by himself. And that's Marshall goes the other way for Delaney, and it's high, out of bounds. It's going to be 3rd and 8.
Yeah, and I mean, Tate Adams has the height advantage over Jackson Marr, but there was the safety in Parker Marr kind of lurking over the top there, so Marshall saw that, decided to go the other way.
Yeah, Stoltzfus out there, number 8 on the coverage. He was locking Adams up, but to your point, John Parker Marr was lurking, and Marshall went the other way. It's 2 to the right, 2 to the left for Marshall. On 3rd and 8, he goes straight back. He's under pressure. He steps up, and he's going to throw it, and he's got Delaney, but a nice play made by Murray, who got his hand in there at the last minute to bat the ball away. And now the Red Tornadoes are going to punt, and Kricky's going to be standing in his own end zone.
Yeah, and that's a tough one there for Marshall. Like that, and Delaney. That ball's just slightly on Delaney's back hip, and I mean that ball's 6 inches further in front of Delaney. That's a huge gain, but a little scramble drill with the pressure on Marshall. And a good play in the defensive backfield there forced this punt.
It's like Murray back by himself. Kricky gets a high kick. It's short. And it's a good, fair catch made by Murray. So it's going to be 1st and 10 Wildcats at the 37-yard line.
Oof. Yeah, this is going to be, and again, now the Red Tornadoes, Wildcats coming out here starting in great field position. You're going to have to see what kind of adjustments were made by the Red Tornadoes to kind of combat this well-balanced Wildcat offense.
Again, Martin will come out. 2 receivers to his right, 2 to his left. Susan in the backfield. They bring Murray in motion. They're going to hand it to him. He's going to try to get the edge. Does a good job of getting around the first Red Tornado defender, but Lukuski's going to finish him off around the 30-yard line.
Yeah, that's a good job. The Wildcats did a really good job kind of sealing the edge there and then gave Murray a lot of room to run. Great job, though, by the Red Tornado defensive backs, the corners, the corner and the safety out here of coming up and helping and run stop.
2nd and 3 from the 31, 6:20 remaining in the first half. 20-7, Big Red. Martin to throw, and he floats it for Griffith. He's got him. Griffith had good position and went up and took the football away. It'll be 1st down inside the 15.
Yeah, that's another really, really good catch there by Griffith. That just going up in the air and securing that catch and all the way to the ground. It's a really good job because it's tremendous coverage by the Red Tornadoes in the defensive backfield. They're doing a great job.
Griffith by himself, split to the left. A trip set to the right for Martin, and he's going to take the snap and run that way. He's got some blockers. He's still on his feet. Still on his feet. Finally, the Red Tornado have a critical mass of white jerseys over there to push him out of bounds, but Martin is not an easy guy to stop.
No, Jim, that's what it took to get the to get Martin out of bounds. Was about half of the Red Tornadoes defense just flowing that way, and he still got the 1st down out of that.
So it'll be 1st and goal from the 4. And we'll see what Coach Botts draws up here. Again, as the Wildcats are having success running both inside and outside the tackles at this point. It's Susan right up the middle, and he's in.
Yes, he is.
For a Wildcat touchdown at the 5:41 mark. It's 20-13. with the extra point pending.
Yeah, and again, Jim, it seemed like with the way that the game started, the Red Tornadoes went down, put points on the board, got a stop, got the ball back, drove, and then got stopped on fourth down. But it seemed like up until that point that this game was gonna lean in the Red Tornadoes' favor now, and the Wildcats are hanging around.
And the Wildcats have trouble with the snap, and it's blocked. Not sure if it was Adams or Lukuski that actually blocked it. They were both in the area. But as it stands, it'll stay 20-13 Mount Carmel.
And again, now we'll see this Red Tornado offense, how they come out here. It's going to be important for the Red Tornado offense to answer that score before the half.
And I'm looking around, Dan, and I can't help but kind of just appreciate the backdrop here of this stadium.
Yeah.
As we have a good vantage point from the press box here, and there's these massive pine trees, and you're looking at, and it's just smack dab in the middle of the neighborhood. There's houses everywhere. There's tennis, like it's very, I don't want to say like Americana, but it does. It just feels like high school football.
Yeah, it's a very, very cool aesthetic for sure. I mean that even just it's like this is the only place that's lit up in the whole town right now.
Yeah.
It's
very cool.
It is cool to see.
So now Herrera will kick off again. Red Tornadoes have Kricky back out there with Morganti. Again, that second line of Adams, Kimzel, Belichick, and Lukuski. For the Big Red. Now, again, we're 5:40 left. We got quite a ways to go here in the second quarter yet, but as this starts, as this is brought back to a one-score game, you start to think about the 2-for-1s for the Wildcats at the end of the half and kind of how all that plays out. Now, again, the Red Tornadoes can certainly handle that on their own with a nice long drive here, but
I might go out of bounds.
And Kricky comes up for it, and he fields it and falls out of bounds himself. So it's going to be 1st and 10 Red Tornadoes inside the 20 at about the 18. And sometimes discretion is the better part of valor. Perhaps we could have let that one bounce out of bounds. But again, if I'm a guy like Kricky, I want the ball all the time.
Absolutely, Jim. And there's so many different things that can happen. You let that ball go and it takes a bounce the opposite direction. Then it's heading back towards towards the Wildcats, and you're not giving up yards at that point. You're giving up possession of the ball.
So 1st and 10 for the Big Red. Come in a little bit of a tight formation here, and it's going to be Kricky. And Kricky looked like he had a space there, but number 75, Tucker, kind of ensured that gap closed pretty quick.
Yeah, did a really good job kind of squeezing down there, because you're right, Jim. I think if Kricky gets through that line of defense there, he's got a lot of green grass in front of him.
One thing Coach Darris said this week with Kricky, and again, it's impressive given that he's only a sophomore, is that a lot of times Kricky starts running and there's no hole, and he has to trust that it's going to be there.
Yeah.
So you give the kid a lot of credit for going where he's supposed to go and understanding the scheme, and he'll get out to the 25. It's going to bring up 3rd and about 3.
Yeah, Jim, this reminds me of the Red Tornadoes of old, at least of the last, maybe 3-4 years ago, where they're just kind of 3-4 yards at a time, staying on schedule. Staying on schedule. You get a 3rd and short here. Just got to convert the 1st down.
I haven't heard you say stay on schedule in a while.
As that wide open Red Tornado offense kind of takes that one out of the call sheet for me.
A lot of motion on that Wildcat defense. And there's Kricky. And this is what we were talking about. Can Griffith get the angle? Kricky's going to outrun the angle. No flags. Touchdown. Big Red. 75 yards. Cooper Kricky.
And that is just an electric run, Jim. I mean, that Thunder, we talked about Thunder and Lightning. I think we mentioned it last year between Blessing and Diaz. Blessing, obviously out with an injury right now. So we've just got Lightning and Lightning in the backfield, whether it's Kricky or Kimzel. Those guys have that big play capability. They just have to get the space to do it. And that time, Kricky did a great job. He's been patient. He's been taking his 2, 3, 4 yards. He's been taking his hits. and he just bided his time and finally was able to get the sideline and show everybody those wheels as he turns it into a huge play.
So snap, a hold, a kick, and that is going to be no good. That'll stay right. So it'll be 26-13 as the Red Tornadoes have the Wildcats doubled up with 4:16 remaining in the first half.
And now we'll see again. The Red Tornadoes have to make sure on this kickoff here. Now, the only downside, as you mentioned before, of that quick strike on the offensive side of the ball is that there's a chance now that the Wildcats can, waste this 4 minutes of clock and put a drive together and punch a score in right before the half and try to work on that 2-for-1 we like to talk about.
Again, we've seen a little bit of everything from the Red Tornadoes. Again, we've scored in 3 facets of the game. We threw, Marshall throws one in, Pricky's run a couple, and Kimsel's returned one. So the Red Tornadoes certainly showing their ability to score in any way. But in this case, it's the defense that needs to come up with a stop here to get that Big Red offense back on the field and give them perhaps another opportunity here before halftime.
Yeah.
Shoppy to kick. Again, Murray and Stoltz was back deep. Donlin Amar, the second level. Good kick from Shoppy. Murray's going to take it at about the 8. Going to try to come up the sideline. Going to stay on his feet. And that's a good effort there. That's number, who's that, Dan? That was number 17, Aiden Brokenshire there for the Big Red that kind of stuck his nose in there and pushed Murray out of bounds.
Yeah, I was watching Brokenshire most of the way down the field here. He engaged with his blocker, went inside. Murray went outside. He then fought over the top of his blocker, back to the outside and made the tackle. It was a great job and textbook by Brokenshire. Really good job shutting down that edge.
Again, 4 wide. 2 to the right, 2 to the left from Martin. He's going to throw. He's under pressure from Belichick. He steps up. Now he floats it, and he's got Murray again, and Murray makes a move. And now it's a foot race. The Red Tornadoes are able to run him down. Belichick slows him up. Lukoski's going to get the tackle. Kimsel slows him up. Lukoski gets the tackle. But again, the Wildcats are deep in Red Tornado territory inside. Looks like they'll mark him just outside the 10-yard line.
And Jim, the escapability of Martin is extending these plays, which is forcing the Red Tornado defensive backfield to stay in coverage longer than they ever have to be. Usually the Red Tornadoes get pressure and the play's over. Martin just faith in himself to get out of the pocket. He's able to hold on to the ball a little bit longer, see the routes kind of develop in front of him.
Martin's going to keep this one himself, and he'll fall forward to the 5-yard line. And Dan, to your point, back to the long pass play, Belichick, Matthew Belichick, that is, he came off the edge untouched.
Free, yeah. Now normally, and I think we've talked about this before. Normally, if there's a free rusher, the quarterback's aware of that. He knows that free rusher is going to be coming from that side. He felt the pressure. He stepped up inside and delivered a strike to Murray.
It's Susan. And Susan bounces off the Red Tornadoes, and he's in. Susan good from 5 yards out. It's 26-19. 3:06 left in the first half. What a ball game.
Yeah, this has been a high-scoring, high-powered offense first half so far, Jim. And this, with all that high scoring, is also high stress for everyone in attendance.
Herrera on for the extra point, and that one is good. And it's 26-20 here at Memorial Stadium in Mifflinburg.
Now, there goes the chance for a 2-for-1 at least for the Wildcats with how quickly they were able to put that one in. So now we'll see how the Red Tornadoes decide to respond. On that last drive, a little bit more time on the clock, and they opted to keep the ball on the ground. Now with 3 minutes, just over 3 minutes left in the half, we'll see does Coach Dara decide to let Marshalik take the reins and air it out.
We talked about the nice backdrop here and the beautiful facilities here in Mifflinburg, but we'd be remiss not to mention the Silver Bowl, more specifically, our legacy brick project, right? We always have to talk about the brick project, and why? Because number one, it's a phenomenal project. It's a good opportunity for you and your family to be involved, to support, to be part of the stadium, as well as to support the general upkeep of the stadium. So that's where the proceeds for any brick or block you purchase go. And also, it just looks cool, right? It's awesome. But we bring it up because you've got to do it before October 1st. So again, the Red Tornado Brick Project, remember in that south end zone where the creature bleachers used to be, go out to redtornadofootball.com, scroll down past Dan and I. On the right side, there's going to be a link to the brick order form. You have to get that in before October 1st so that those bricks can get made, the bricks or blocks can get made, and you can have those installed before the weather gets cold. If you don't have it by October 1st, you're going to have to wait till the spring. So please, get those orders in. And that one's going to bounce, and Cricky takes it on a hop. He's going to fight forward across the 25. But, Dan, that's a perfect example of what you mentioned on the last kickoff.
Yeah.
Where that ball, I do not think, bounced where anybody in the stadium thought it was going to bounce.
No, not at all, because it seemed like Morgani was really ready to let Karicki take that one off a bounce, and then it bounced in Morgani's direction, and he kind of shied away from it. So it was.
And then somehow, amidst all the chaos there with the ball on the ground and the fire drill, the Red Tornadoes were called for a block in the back.
Yeah.
So that's going to push the ball all the way back to the 16-yard line, where it'll be 1st and 10 Red Tornadoes there, 84 yards from pay dirt with 2:59 remaining in the half.
Yeah, so we'll see again. Now under 3 minutes, how Coach Dara decides to proceed. 2 timeouts in his pocket, can't take them with him, so shouldn't have a problem putting the ball on the ground here with Karicki.
And I'm watching the way Jackson Griffith is covering Adams here, and it's interesting because he's got Landon Murray over the top. So Griffith is actually giving him a free inside release. Not that it matters because it's Karicki over the 25 for a Red Tornado first down.
Yeah, and that's a touchdown saving tackle there by John Parker Marr in that defensive backfield. But when your safeties who are at 11, 12 yards depth are making tackles, it's never a good sign.
Marshalik. This time it's Kimzel, and Kimzel's going to take a shot.
Yeah.
We'll see who gets up off the bottom. I can see who hit him first. Now I'm going to lose him into chaos here. I think that's Reeder.
I saw 62 was in there too. That's a big boy, hard to miss. Xavier Kroll. 62 is definitely in on that one. He's one of those inside linebackers.
So it's 2nd and 9. Marshalik to Kimzel again, and Kimzel got stuck, and that's Landon Tucker, 75. And now there's a flag, a late flag.
Yeah, and I think that's going to go against the Wildcats here.
And the official pointing at the Wildcats. So wait, that's going to be a personal foul against the Wildcats. So a 3rd and long is going to turn into a 1st and 10 and 15 yards for the Big Red.
Yeah, and that's a big one there against the Wildcats. That one hurts. You get two good stops. I mean, really good run defense, and just kind of lose your cool a little bit.
Well, and the tough part about that one is sometimes you see flags and they come in from all directions. You think, how did you see what happened? How did you know? That official happened to be right in the thick of it when he threw the flag.
Yeah.
So whatever occurred, and again, I didn't have a great vantage point. It must have been pretty obvious to the official.
Yeah.
But that's going to move the ball out to the 42-yard line for the Red Tornadoes. A 1st and 10. I'm going to reset the play clock here. Now we'll start the game clock, and we're in play. 2 minutes as Marshall snaps this. And it's Kimsel again, and that's Landon Tucker one more time, as well as number 62, Kroll.
Yeah, there's just nowhere to go for this Red Tornado rushing attack inside.
That's going to be a 2-yard loss back to the 40. And now Tucker's going to come to the sideline. Number 54, Jack Whitaker, who's also the center. He's going to head in there.
And play over the center.
Marshall's got Delaney, and Delaney's going to get hit by Griffith and Reeder, but he'll get across the 45 to the 46. It's going to bring up third at about 7.
Yeah, and everybody up quick. The clock is still ticking, but really no. I mean, this is slow for a Red Tornado offense to be running. This is not what we're used to seeing when they're really in the hurry up.
Yeah, minute 4, 3, 2. 19 seconds on the play clock. Marshall helps Kimsel with his shoulder pad there. And now it's going to be Kimsel again, and Kimsel's going to bounce to the right side, and he's going to be very close to a first down. The far official looks like he's got a mark short, so it's going to be 4th and a yard for Mount Carmel with 44 seconds. Coach Dara is going to take a timeout.
Yeah, this is a good spot to take a timeout here. I wasn't sure who that timeout was going to come from. If it was going to come from the Wildcats when they saw 4th down signaled. But Coach Dara takes it and is going to, they're going to reset the clock. Put, I think, 3 more seconds on the clock.
It's going to bump up to 45 seconds. And what was interesting about that one, Dan, is despite the previous couple plays, Kimsel had the ability on that play. He bounced to the other side as opposed to running into, and again, maybe part of that was because Tucker was on the sideline.
Yeah, you never know. I mean, it's definitely a possibility, but it's been really tough sledding for the Red Tornadoes anywhere in between the tackles. Even when they are able to get a little seam or a little crease, they're in and then they're back outside.
So Tucker's back out there now for the Wildcats. Again, this is a huge play at this stage of the game. It's 4th and a yard. The ball resting just on the Wildcat side of the 50. 45 seconds remaining in the half. The Red Tornadoes lead by 6. Marshall to Kricky, and Kricky goes down to the backfield. What a play. That's Chad Martin. Martin fired from his linebacker spot and dropped Kricky in the backfield, and the Red Tornadoes turn it over on downs. And now the Wildcats are going to have a chance here. 38 seconds, 2 timeouts, and only about 47 yards to go.
Yeah, I mean, Jim, that's plenty of time for this Wildcat offense to go down there and take a lead into the half. So we'll see. I mean, and what do you do here as a Red Tornado defense? Do you play deep and try to give up the underneath stuff? Because then they'll run it and they will eat you with the underneath stuff. I think those 2 timeouts that the Wildcats have in their back pocket are huge at this point.
You see that big number 19 in the backfield that's slinging it everywhere?
Yeah.
I don't want to give him too much room to run either.
No.
And Martin's going to throw. Now he's going to run. And he's going to stay on his feet. And he's still on his feet. Inside the 30. 25-yard line. It's going to pick up of about 22 yards. It'll be 1st and 10 Wildcats. 29 seconds to go. The clock is stopped for the moment as they spot the ball, but the Wildcats are going to use their 2nd timeout of the half.
Yeah, where Martin employed the stiff arm, he was about 2 or 3 yards ahead of the line of scrimmage. That would have been a 2 to 3 yard gain if the tackle was able to be made there. And he turned that into a huge gain of about 20, and I mean now this is absolutely striking distance.
Yeah. Martin is a man out there.
My
goodness.
He is. He's big and he knows it and he runs that way.
29 seconds. And the Red Tornadoes need to find a way to come up with another stand here to get into the locker room with a lead.
Yeah.
It's going to be Marr in the backfield with Martin. Again, with Susan on the sideline, this is certainly more of a pass package for the Wildcats.
Yeah.
Donlin and Ribesome to the right. It's like Murray comes in motion. And Martin to throw. He's under pressure. He steps up. And Lukuski with a big play.
Great job.
Big play by Lukuski to drop Martin in the open field. And now there's a flag, and this one may go against the Big Red.
Yeah, we'll have to see. It looked like there was an offensive lineman way downfield tied up with a Red Tornado defender. And we'll have to see what the call is here.
Yep, and that'll be against the Red Tornadoes. So those cut both ways, as the Red Tornadoes had one benefit them on the previous drive, and certainly after a nice stop by Lukuski, that's going to hurt the Big Red defense. This will be a half the distance penalty.
And should be an automatic first down as well.
Yep. As it is. And they're going to move the ball to about the 12 and a half the distance from the 25. I don't know if we're supposed to say half yards, but that's the reality of it.
Yeah. The math's right.
The maths. 18 seconds, 1st and 10 from the 12. Martin brings Donlin in motion. Martin drops straight back. He rolls to his left. He sends Donlin to the corner, and he throws it across the middle, and he's got Griffith. Griffith is short of the end zone, but he completes it inside the 5. 8 seconds, 7 seconds. The clock stops on the first down.
Yeah, and they're trying to save this timeout, it looks like, Jim, that they still have.
Martin spikes it. 3 seconds left. So you get one play. Theoretically, I mean, I suppose you could have 2 plays, but I don't know how you get them done in less than 3 seconds.
Yeah.
And now, while the Wildcats did not opt to use a timeout, the Red Tornadoes did, as they're going to try to get this defense straight.
Yeah, can't take them with you.
And again, the long run from Martin and the personal foul kind of are lost to history if the Red Tornadoes can get a stop here.
Yeah, 100%. You can kind of chalk those ones up, talk about them tomorrow in film session. But if it ends up in points and you go into the half tied or down, either way, they are humongous plays on this drive.
I was looking, I thought for a second Diego Herrera was moving. Thought he was going to come in and kick.
He could do it for
Oh,
sure.
Absolutely could. Although I support Coach Botts here. I certainly, with what you've got in that backfield,
Absolutely.
I'm not kicking this. Looking to send Tucker in there. Tucker's going to stay at that left guard position. I thought they were going to maybe move him in the backfield.
Yeah.
But Martin, there's a lot of field to the field side, Dan, if they decide to move Martin. He's going to throw. He's going to roll that way. And he floats it. He's got Marr. It's a touchdown. Martin to Marr. Touchdown Wildcats. And it's all tied up at 26 here. There's no time left in the half. All that's left is for the Wildcats to attempt the PAT.
And what a huge turn of events, Jim. This is the epitome of a 2-for-1. You don't leave any time left.
Right.
And you get points. And now you'll come back after scoring a touchdown from the half and get the ball kicked off to you.
It's a good snap. It's a good hold. And there's going to be a big penalty there against the Big Red. So we'll hold on here, wait and see.
Was the kick good, Jim?
Yeah, the kick was good.
Okay.
He drilled the kick. It's 27-26, but there's a roughing the kicker penalty against the Big Red. So now will we start? That'll start the second half. Is that how will they administer that after the half?
I think so. I think they will.
And so that would back Shoppy up to what, the 25 they kicked from. And this Wildcat offense has needed no assistance. But we'll see how that all plays out as the officials officially make that call. But we are officially done with the first half here. It's 27-26 Wildcats. Red Tornadoes head in the locker room down by a point We'll be back with the second half, stats from Jose and scores from around the area, so please don't go anywhere.
All right, I'm here with Matt Belichick. Matt, what's your number and position?
My number is 2 and my position's outside linebacker.
All righty. So we're going to get to know you in 5 questions, all right?
All right.
So do you have any pregame rituals?
Not really. I just eat grilled chicken before every game, and I run 40 yards right before the game.
All right, all right. What's your favorite cinnamon stick spool?
The coal bucket, I think it's called. It's the
All
one
right.
with the Nutella and peanut butter.
The cool cracker?
Coal
There you go,
cracker,
there you
that's
go.
what it is.
What is your biggest fear?
Spiders.
Spiders? They're my second biggest fear.
What's your biggest fear?
Probably the ocean. It's
Don't
very
mess
scary.
with
Nobody
it?
knows what's down there, honestly.
You don't mess with it?
No. What's your favorite TV show?
The Office. Or
The
Suits.
Office. Oh, Suits is a good one.
It is. Those
Get-
two are like my top two.
Especially being like a law firm family, you know?
Yeah,
It's a good movie to watch.
it is.
And who's your favorite professional athlete?
Ooh, this is a tough one. I think I'm going to go with Saquon Barkley.
Saquon Barkley.
Yeah.
Great guy.
I loved him since I was a kid.
Okay.
He's always my favorite.
Big Penn State fan?
Yeah, big Penn State
makes
fan.
Makes sense. Thank you, Matt. I'm here with Ben Miller. Ben, what's your number and position?
I'm number 29, and I play inside linebacker.
Alrighty. So we're going to get to know you in 5 questions. What's your favorite TV show?
Probably Tom and Jerry.
Tom and Jerry?
Yeah.
Great classic
It's a
show.
great show. It's a great show.
All right. What's your Dunkin' order?
I've never been to Dunkin'.
Never
actually.
been to Dunkin'?
No, I've never been that place. But actually, I've had one of those cold chocolate things. They're
Oh,
pretty good.
they are good.
They're pretty good.
They are good. What's your favorite subject in school?
Math.
Math?
Calc specifically.
Calc.
Specifically.
Alrighty. What's your favorite snack?
Snack. Ooh. First thing that came to mind was Scooby snacks, but that's not true. So, I don't know, maybe like Dippin' Dots or something.
Dippin'
like that.
Dots?
They're pretty good.
They're great. Yeah, they are great. What movie could you watch every day?
Cool Runnings.
Cool Runnings?
Yeah. It's a great movie.
It's a great pick, honestly. And, one more question. How does it feel to have your younger brother, Josh Miller, on the team now?
Feels all right, you know.
All right?
He's just there. you know.
He's just there?
Yeah, he's just there.
Get to hang out with him more now?
Yeah.
Outside of the house,
Yeah. I have to drive in places though. So,
Oh, see.
yeah.
Soon he'll be driving
Yeah.
now.
Eventually.
Thank you, Ben.
Assistant drum instructor. John Jacoby, assistant to the band director. Jennifer Melnick, color guard instructor. Linda Haas, assistant color guard instructor. Bernie Sellers, Kelly Lucas, Erica Mexico, and Cameron Getty, music and marching instructors. We would like to thank Brett Getty, Matt Sellers, the MCA School Board and Administration, and especially the MCA band parents for their continued invaluable support. The band would like to recognize the late Paul Cross Amisha, legendary MCA now youth director, who wrote the brass and woodwind arrangements for portions of our show. And now we invite you to sit back and enjoy the 2024 edition of the Mount Carmel Area High School Big Red Band.
Hello and welcome back to Memorial Stadium here in Mifflinburg, where the Mifflinburg Wildcats lead the visiting Red Tornadoes 27-26 after a very exciting first half. Again, a lot of points on the board. Dan, again, we always have the privilege and the pleasure of doing this courtesy of our good friend Jose. Dan, I believe you have some numbers to put some of those points in context.
Yeah. So we'll start with the team that's in front on the scoreboard here, the Mifflinburg Wildcats. So 18 rushing attempts for 90 yards, 6 of 9 passing for 134 yards, 9 first downs, and that 27 points on the board. Now you got to remember those numbers may seem a little bit low compared, looking at the 27 points, but the Red Tornadoes have been penalized multiple times in the first half and gave up a lot of short fields to the Wildcats. So, I mean, field position, time of possession has been big on both sides here. Now we'll go to the Red Tornadoes. 28 rushing attempts for 226 yards, 9 of 14 passing for 78 yards, 13 first downs, and that 26 on the scoreboard there. So, I mean, very, very even game on both sides. It seems like Mifflinburg's having a little bit more success in the air, as the Red Tornadoes are having a lot of success on the ground, mostly on the back of Cooper Karicki. 18 rushing attempts for 209 yards.
Oh, my goodness.
In the first half, Jim.
Cooper had a phenomenal week last week with, 180?
Yeah.
17 for 20? No, I'm looking
17.
It's a little dark up here.
Yeah.
17 for 183, and tonight he's got 18 for 209 in 2 quarters.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you right now, the Red Tornadoes have needed every one of them and more. The other piece that I think we need to call out here is special teams on both sides have been interesting, where both teams have had opportunities. Again, the Wildcats returned a kick for a touchdown.
Yep.
That was Landon Murray. It was about 91 yards. You didn't have to wait long for the Red Tornadoes to answer.
No.
As Kimsel took kickoff about 88 yards, the ensuing kickoff to the house. Plus, we've had some interesting events on special teams. I mean, the Red Tornadoes got through and blocked a kick early of Diego Herrera's extra points, while the Red Tornadoes had a situation where their holder, Tate Adams, got yanked out of the game by the official for a play. Still not sure what happened there.
No.
So there's been a lot, and we're going to start the second half with an interesting situation as well.
Yeah.
Due to the Red Tornadoes roughing the kicker penalty at the end of the first half.
Yeah.
And so while there's quite a bit going on here in Mifflinburg, we did promise some stats, some scores at least from around the area.
Yeah.
So a couple teams the Red Tornadoes are always interested in. Again, 2 future opponents, the Big Red, Danville and Montoursville, are battling it out tonight. It's 9-8 Danville in the third quarter. And that's an interesting one again.
Very. Danville
considered one of the top, if not the top, AAA team in all the state.
Yeah, I'd say one of the favorites, at least, definitely to win the district.
Next week's opponent, Southern Columbia, they lead Milton 35-7 in the third. Week 1 opponent, North Schuylkill, they're up 22-14 on Notre Dame Green Pond. Loyalsock leads Hughesville 6-0. And I think there was one more we were looking for here, Dan.
There may have been.
Well, I was trying to give you an opportunity to jump in there.
Oh, yeah.
It's our
Shamokin.
Yeah. Always curious how the Indians are doing, and they lead the Braves 42-0 in the third.
Yeah, Jim, you said they're kind of chasing that opportunity to start season 3-0 for the first time in over a decade, correct?
2 decades. I
2
believe,
decades.
If what I read was correct, and for those of you that need updates on the NFL games because you're busy watching us, it's nothing early Packers and Eagles. So, Dan, let me ask you something.
Yeah.
Second half, Red Tornadoes trail 27-26. We'll see the offense for the Wildcats first. Again, likely with good field position when they walk off this penalty.
As they've had throughout the first half as well.
So if you're the Big Red, what are you doing here?
I mean,
what do you need to do to get back on track?
You have to find a way. I would commit one of the inside linebackers to spy quarterback Chad Martin. Treat him like Lamar Jackson. have somebody just trailing him at all times. It makes an offense very dangerous when you have to do that on the defensive side of the ball. But Martin has hurt them with his arm, and he has hurt them with his legs throughout the entire first half. He's pretty much put the team on their back. And on the offensive side of the ball, they just got to do more of the same. Just continue to pound the rock, mix in those quick, short throws with Marshalik, and just keep putting points on the board. If this is going to be a shootout, you got to keep shooting.
Good kick from Shoppy. It'll be Stoltzfus at about the 22 after the penalty. And he's going to get up, and there's a flag already. He's going to be tackled down. I think it's Kimsel that got him initially.
And that flag may bode well for the Red Tornadoes here.
It's going to be first 10 at the 39 as it stands, but I think you're right, Dan. I don't think there were any Red Tornadoes. There weren't too many Red Tornadoes in the area when that flag was thrown. Be a hold on the Wildcats, so again, kind of a fortunate turn of events there for the Red Tornadoes. You got a good kick from Shoppy, a good coverage on the return, and then depending on where the hold occurred, I don't know if they're right. Well,
looked right about where the ball was spotted.
Yeah, okay. So that's going to move the ball back to the 29.
But either way, I mean, this is still one of the worst starting field positions for the Wildcats through this game so far. So they got a long field to play with here.
Donlin comes in motion across the formation. Martin to throw right away. He looks in Donlin's direction. Now he steps up and he throws, and he's got Jackson Griffith wide open in the middle of the field for a first down across the 45.
And Jim, it looked like the Red Tornadoes on that play took my advice. Looked like they had Ben Miller kind of spying Martin, and with him being, stepping up in the pocket and kind of getting flushed out there, Ben Miller had to kind of come up and show him that he was there, and that left that middle of the field open, and left that wide open for that first down completion.
First and 10 at the 46. Quick 17 yards for the Wildcats. This time it's Murray in motion, but they give it to Susan. Nowhere to go for Susan. I think it was Matt Belichick that knocked him first, but it's Clogus and Morganti that clean it up.
Yeah, really nice job there. And the Red Tornadoes have been doing a really good job on the designed run plays. They've been doing a good job containing the inside run from the running backs. It's mostly been the quarterback, Martin. Improvising that has been hurting the Red Tornadoes with the ground game.
It's Martin again. Here comes the rush, and he floats it out there looking for Murray. Incomplete. He took a shot from Belichick, but Morganti was in on pressure as well.
And the Red Tornadoes, Belichick and Morganti, both did a tremendous job of letting Martin know that they were there, but not getting flagged. As soon as he got the ball out, they let him go. Martin ended up not even hitting the ground there, but it was enough pressure to force an errant throw. And now the Wildcats are looking third and long here on this first drive.
Stop here for the Big Red would go a long way. Martin rolls to his right. Lukuski's coming from behind, and it's wide of Murray as Martin is picking himself up off the turf, and it's 4th and 11.
Yeah, Jim, blitzing a defensive back from the backside on a rollout. I mean, that's the trips was to this side. There's only one receiver on the backside there. You got to find ways to put pressure on Martin when he's back in his drops. And the Red Tornadoes did a really good job of stringing him out to the sideline, not giving him a lane to run. And Lukuski did a great job in chase there, providing pressure.
Big punt from Schenk. It's going to be Kimsel, and he has trouble with it. He picks it back up at the 10. He gets up the right sideline. It's a good return by Kimsel out to around the 25-yard line, maybe the 26. But that Red Tornado defense does their job and gets the ball back to the offense early in the third quarter.
And that's huge. I mean, we talked about the opportunity there for the Wildcats to get the 2-for-1. The Red Tornadoes did a tremendous job of containing Martin, and that's what led to the punt.
Marshalik, as Dan said, 9 of 14 in the first half, 90 yards.
7 of those to Delaney.
This time it's Kimsel, and he bounces to the left. He puts his shoulder down. He'll take a shot from Martin, but he's going to have close to a first down, out to, well, maybe a little shorter than I thought, but it's a good pickup of about 8.
Yeah, it's a good, really good run there by Kimsel, and that's what the Red Tornado backfield has to do. They've got to, those plays are designed to go inside. That 3-3 stack, you're not going to be able to run the ball inside.
Kimsel again, and he'll have a first down.
And Jim, I'm kind of seeing from the Red Tornadoes at least what you and I talked about a little bit, and it's, you know, with how tough this Wildcat offense has been and how quickly they've been able to score points, you want to just control the ball, control the clock, put together some long drives, stay on schedule.
Completion like that to Bailey, and Coach Dara talked to us about it. Those short completions are just an extension of the run game.
Yep, that's absolutely what it is. And if you can win the time of possession in the second half, the Red Tornadoes will have no problem coming back and winning this game. Sorry, Jim.
Good completion to Delaney. He's going to do his best to get away from Moser. But it'll be another Red Tornado first down.
Yeah, and that's exactly what you want. 2 plays and a first down. 2 plays and a first down. You're going to just run that clock. No real rush from the Red Tornado offense here compared to the beginning of the game.
Kimsel again, and this time the Wildcats were ready for it. It's a couple big shots there he took. Even one when he was held up.
Yeah.
It's going to be a loss of maybe a yard, 2nd and 11.
Yeah, and again, the Red Tornadoes, Jim, I think you were pointing it out. Those linebackers are creeping up near the line of scrimmage.
Marshalik is going up top for Delaney. That's Belichick, excuse me. And Belichick almost caught it off a tip. He did everything he could to convince the ref that he did.
Yeah, I mean, he seems convinced that ball did not hit the ground.
I think we've talked about this a lot over the few years we've been doing this. Whenever there's a call, and I wonder if it was a call favorable to Mount Carmel or not, I look at Coach Dara.
Yeah.
Coach Dara didn't seem too fired up, so
no.
I'll trust him that one hit the turf. But kudos on Belichick for doing his best there to
sell it.
Marshall to throw again. It's a screen to Kimsel, and Kimsel's got blockers. Gavin Demko, big block. Kimsel still on his feet inside the 20, and it's a touchdown, Red Tornadoes. 52 yards. What a big play by the Big Red, and none bigger than number 66 out there in front gets the last block.
And Jim, how do you defeat an aggressive defense? Screen and draw. Screen and draw. That was a perfectly timed. It was a blitz situation, 3rd and long. It's a perfect time to throw that screen play, and the Red Tornadoes executed it to perfection. Kimsel had blockers in front of him, 20 yards downfield, when he was 20 yards downfield, and then he did the rest by himself. He fought his way down there, and now the Red Tornadoes looking to make this a full possession lead, going for 2.
32-27 they lead, have opted to skip the extra point kick and go for 2. Marshall throws, and it's incomplete. They were trying to run that quick insider to Delaney, and number 11, Parker Marr, John Parker Marr read it coming the whole way.
Yes, he did. He did.
So it'll remain 32-27 with 8:39 left in the 3rd quarter.
Yeah, now we get to see this Wildcat offense again. Who again, we continue to talk about the quarterback Martin and the capability that he has to change a game. I mean, with his, whether it's with his legs or with his arm, he is such an integral part to this offense. And the Red Tornadoes did a awesome job in that first drive of the second half, containing him. You make him one-dimensional. You don't got to make the whole team one-dimensional. Just make Martin one-dimensional, and you got an opportunity to get another stop here.
Again, we'll go back, and if you have a chance, when you get a minute, rewind it, watch it on Wednesday, watch it again whenever you can. That screenplay that resulted in the touchdown is about a pretty of a screenplay as you're going to see. Marshall stood in there as long as he needed to with the defense bearing down. The Red Tornadoes had the initial blocks from the offensive line to spring Kimsel, and like we said, Demko's about 20 yards downfield to get that last kick, and Kimsel did the rest.
Yep.
So now Shoppy will kick from the 40, where he's more accustomed to. It's a good kick. It's going to be out of bounds, unfortunately, at good distance, but it was a little off from a directional standpoint, so it'll be good field position for the Wildcats.
Yeah, that's a tough one there for Shoppy because that's a great kick. Just and you know, we talked about it earlier with the Red Tornado return team. Sometimes that ball bounces in ways that you don't want it to, and unfortunately for the kickoff team there for the Red Tornadoes, bounced out of bounds.
The ball will be placed at the 35 as is custom when kickoff goes out of bounds. And that Red Tornado defense, again, largely unchanged. It's Miller and Clokus in the middle. Morganti and Belichick on the ends. Delaney, Lukuski at the corners. Kimsel and Belichick are the safeties. Shiganowski, Shimko, and Karicki on that defensive line. Red Tornadoes had some success stopping this offense last drive. It's Susan off the right side, and Susan is going to have some space. The great run. It'll be Kimsel that finally brings him down, but not before he gets into Red Tornado territory, the 49-yard line. It's going to be a gain of about 16.
Yeah, that's a really, really good run there by Susan, who we didn't really see have anything open in that first drive of the second half there. Was able to break that first one and get into Red Tornado territory.
Martin keeps it himself. And a good job there by the Red Tornadoes of wrapping up low.
And that's how you have to tackle him.
It's like Morganti and Belichick, Morganti and Miller, first two on the scene.
Yeah, Morganti got the ankle, and Miller didn't come in high. He didn't come in at the shoulder pads. He came in about waist. And that's how you're going to have to wrap that guy up. You know, we talked about the size of Martin, 6'3", 220 pounds. He is a load. And if he gets moving, it's hard to tackle him.
A lot of times when you see numbers like that, you go, yeah, but he's not really that big. No, Martin's that big.
Yeah.
6'3", 220 might not be big enough.
No, he's definitely all of 220 pounds.
Martin stands in there. He's looking for Griffith. There's a lot of hand fighting. That's going to be against the Big Red, as Lukuski and Griffith were fighting down the sideline.
And you know, we've talked about this before, Jim. That's a tough one for Lukoski. It's the right call, but the ball was underthrown. So Griffiths is trying to come back through Lukoski, and it's just, you know, it's a tough way to give up yards there.
It'll be a 15-yard penalty. Bring the ball to the 31. And a 1st and 10 for the Wildcats. Susan will stay in the backfield with Martin. Griffith and Lukuski locked up man-to-man on the short side of the field. Martin's going to go the other way to Landon Murray. Nice move out across the 25.
Yeah, I mean, all Murray had to do there, that's a screen with no blockers in front of you. That's a one-on-one screen. You get the ball to Murray, and you just trust him to make the first guy miss, and he did that and turned it into a nice gain.
Clokus to the sideline. Looks like he's got perhaps an equipment issue. Keegan Brown will spell him at that inside linebacker spot.
Oh, there was there another penalty here?
Yeah, there's a personal foul against the Big Red. I'm not sure where it came from. I don't know exactly what happened there. The game has been chippy.
Yeah. I mean, that's two now coming from the same side of the field.
I'm not really sure what happened. Again, sometimes, like we talked about it, sometimes these things happen. As Adams goes in for Lukuski, sometimes these things happen, and you can agree or disagree with whether it escalated to a foul, but you see something.
Yeah.
In that situation, I didn't see anything.
No, didn't appear that anything was going on there. It was kind of definitely away from the ball, because that's where I was looking, and I didn't even know a flag had been thrown.
So that brings the ball to the 11, and it's Radwell Susan, and he's down inside the 5.
Might be a first down. Gonna be close.
Gonna be. I don't know. Let's see. It's gonna be second and about a yard. Looks like the ball's sitting maybe at the 4, perhaps the 3. 6:40 remaining in the third quarter. The Wildcats on the doorstep, and Susan is in. Susan said, I'm the one who knocks. It's 33-32 Wildcats.
Yeah. And again, another Wildcat drive aided by penalties by the Red Tornadoes. I mean, you have 2 consecutive 15-yard penalties by the Red Tornadoes to put the Wildcats in that position.
Herrera's kick is up and good. 34-32, and again, the exact reason Coach Dare and the Big Red went for 2 on the last drive.
Yeah.
So at this point, Dan, I think what's interesting to kind of get into a little bit here is the Red Tornadoes, again, we talked about at the outset, had a lot of penalties last week.
Yeah.
A lot.
A ton.
We got a lot tonight.
Yes, I agree. 100%. That's and we talked about even you mentioned Coach Dara's interview kind of at the end of the game last week. We're going to focus on 900, let everybody enjoy that, but there's a lot of stuff to clean up, and I think no matter how things turn out and how the Red Tornadoes come out of this one at the end of the full 48 minutes, there's going to be some stuff to clean up for next week.
Yeah, I think so. And you look back, so last week the Red Tornadoes gave up a lot of yards to Ty Regan from Central Columbia. Unfortunately, not as many touchdowns, but a lot of yards on the ground.
Yes.
The week before, I think, Lucas Miller had 4 rushing touchdowns in the first half. And now that's Radwell Susan's 3rd rushing touchdown.
Yes, it is.
So the Red Tornadoes need to find some answer for the run game.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's I mean, the answer for the run game might be stop giving them short fields.
Right.
Get these penalties cleaned up.
Good kick from Herrera. Cricky will take it about the 17, and he has a hard time with it. Fortunately for the Red Tornadoes, it bounces out of bounds as Murray was so close to recovering that for the Wildcats.
Yes, he was.
I mean, that would have been catastrophic for the Big Red.
Yeah. I mean, your offense has been keeping pace and kind of bailing out the defense throughout this game so far. You can't afford to give up any possessions at this point.
And it'll be Cricky in the backfield. It was Kim's last drive. Cricky this one. Adams, Delaney, and Bailey split to the left. Belichick by himself to the right. High snap. Marshall gets down. He's got Bailey. And Bailey does a good job getting upfield for a first down across the 35. I'm going to mark him down at the 30. They're going to give him the 38, I think.
And Jim, that ball just outside of the reach of number 50, Schneck, who that ball came out so quick, he came out of his stance and threw his arms up in the air.
Red Tornadoes go their screen, their kind of bubble screen to Delaney to the right. He'll pick up maybe 5.
Yeah, that's about right.
It'll be second and 5 from the, call it the 43. Red Tornadoes, again, they trail here in Mifflinburg, 34-32. 6:09 remaining in the third quarter.
Yeah, and let's not forget, we've got, 2 plays on this drive, 2 pass completions. But you've also got a running back next to Marshall that has over 200 yards through the first half.
And there's 21. And he's going to have a first down for the Red Tornadoes out near midfield. They're going to mark it at the 49. First and 10 from there.
again, just this is what the Red Tornadoes need to do. Control the ball, control the clock.
Marshall to throw. He's looking, he's got to move. He's bouncing around the pocket. Marshall's trying to move his receivers. Now he's going to run. He's going to pick up what he can. Does a good job there getting upfield. Marshall did everything he could on that play and turned what probably could have easily been a sure sack into a 2-yard gain.
Yeah. I mean, Marshall tried to roll right when he felt the pressure in his face. There was somebody there. He stepped up. He escaped. He kept his eyes downfield the entire time, too, which is, I mean, an awesome job. Credit to the Wildcats' defensive backfield for staying in coverage.
Marshall had trouble with the snap there. Fortunate for the Red Tornadoes, he still got the handoff off. Cricky picked up maybe another yard, and now it's 3rd and 7.
Looked like Marshall had some trouble with the snap, and Cricky had some trouble with his footing there. He seemed a little upset when he went down. But yeah, it's a 3rd and long. It's not the position the Red Tornadoes want to be in here.
Marshall studies the defense. And it's a sweep to Cricky, but Cricky's in trouble, and Cricky's going to be flung down, and that is big number 56, Chase Akey. And that's about the 2nd or 3rd time, Dan, I think, in those big situations, the Red Tornadoes have tried to run to the outside.
Yeah.
And the Wildcats have been there.
Yeah, every time, Jim. Every time they've been there. And now we're going to see Red Tornado punt team on the field.
It's 4th and about 15 here. So even if Coach Dara had an itch, this isn't the time to scratch it.
No.
It's a good kick off the left-footed Cricky. And they're trouble. The Red Tornadoes recovered. I believe the Red Tornadoes. No, Murray.
Oh, wow.
What a terrific play by Murray to get back on the ball. I was certain Lukuski had that football.
You and me both, Jim. You and me both. And that was seconds from disaster.
Great effort by Murray.
To get back on it.
I genuinely thought Lukuski had that one. I thought Murray's body was oriented the wrong way.
Yeah.
But what a great play by number 31. So now you called it earlier, Dan. You said the Red Tornado offense has picked up their defense all night. Well, here the Red Tornado offense needs the defense to pick it up.
Yeah, for sure. You can't go down 2 possessions at this point in the game.
It's Martin. It's Susan. And he's still on his feet. That's a good effort. He's going to get to the 30 now. It's only maybe a gain of 2. But it could have very easily been a loss.
Yeah. You're right, Jim. Just
actually got to the 30 or the 31.
Yeah, so about 4 yards.
Yeah.
But either way, I mean, I see Susan come to the sideline, which means now your eyes go to number 19.
And number 2 out there with Morganti. Jackson Griffith had a nice night catching the football. Martin, though, he's going to run this one himself. And the Red Tornadoes are there for him. Again, Martin's big, but so is Noah Shimko. And he was the first one on scene there.
Yeah, and that's a really, really good job there by the Red Tornadoes, just rallying to the football, rallying to that spot. You kind of, it's hard not to know. You shift one of your linemen into the backfield there to lead block for Martin. No frills, not trying to disguise what you're doing, but now you see a personnel change again. Put a little bit more, questions in the Red Tornadoes' mind.
That looks like more of a speed package in there for the Wildcats as it was Ribesome. Susan went back in and Stoltzfus. Martin to throw. He's got it out there. He's looking for it. It's incomplete.
And there's a flag.
What looked like a great play by Belichick is going to be a flag on the Red Tornadoes.
That's just a bad call.
That's tremendous coverage out there.
Yeah, I mean, the ball and both players got there at the same time.
And so it's going to be pass interference against the Big Red, which is going to cost them 15 yards and another Wildcat first down.
But it does look like now they're pointing against Carmel.
So that's a 3rd and long. You get good pressure on Martin. You get good coverage out of Belichick, but the call doesn't go your way. And so now it's 1st and 10 Wildcats at the 46. 2:43 remaining in the 3rd quarter. They lead the Red Tornadoes 34-32 here at Memorial Stadium in Mifflinburg.
And now new life here for this Wildcats offense.
And they go back to Susan, and Susan takes a shot from Belichick. Lukuski will help him finish it off. Excuse me, Kimsel. I thought that was a 1. It was a 4. And I think given the way Chase Belichick plays that defensive back spot, that's about as high a compliment as we can give Kimsel to say, hey, you're moving around like Belichick back there.
Yeah, right. He did a really good job of just kind of, wow, that's a big loss too. But that's a tremendous job by the Red Tornado defense to string that out and then give the defensive backs time to come up and fill and make the tackle.
3 to the left for Martin. He sends John Parker Marr in motion. They run a wheel route, but it's got Griffith in the open. Griffith ran kind of a seam route. He's still on his feet down to the 30-yard line. So that's a great play design and a great look by Martin. He had 2 receivers to throw to. He picked the one in the middle.
Yeah, Jim, and Lukuski fell down in coverage there. At the snap of the ball, Lukuski fell, and I think that's kind of what sprung Griffiths down the middle.
Well, they sent Marr in motion, John Parker Marr in motion, and he kind of ran that wheel route. And that's where I thought Martin was going to go with the football.
Yeah.
That's where my eyes were, and that's why Martin's down there and I'm up here.
Martin out of the gun. Susan back in. They're going to give it off to Susan.
Susan again. He's going to be tackled by Karicki.
I think Bailey was in there with the first one there.
Out to the 25. It's a gain of 5 for Susan. And this Wildcat offense is on the move again.
Yeah. I mean, with time, ticking down here in the 3rd quarter, the Wildcats are knocking on the door of making this a 2-possession game.
Martin is going to take that QB sweep to the left, and he cuts back inside for a 1st down. I'm trying to see where they're going to mark this. It's inside the 15. There's a Red Tornado down. Being stretched out by I think that's Morganti stretching him out. So the clock will stop with 51 seconds remaining in the 3rd quarter. Again, and when we restart here, it'll be 1st and 10 at the 15. Again, this is a WKMC TV broadcast sponsored by the Mount Carmel Community Center, so we certainly thank the Community Center for their support. This is a Pennsylvania Heartland Athletic Conference Division II matchup here. And Mifflinburg, again, we haven't got into it a whole lot, Dan, because it's kind of more of a thing that plays a part later in the season. But Mifflinburg, AAA team as well. Red Tornadoes' first season in AAA here.
Yes.
So a lot of crossovers with the Wildcats here.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely a team you could see down the line at some point in the playoffs.
That was Kimsel, who's now up, getting off the field. So we'll see how the Red Tornadoes address Kimsel's absence. Looks like they're going to bump Delaney back to the safety position. Morganti will bounce out to corner. And here comes the Red Tornadoes. And the ball's on the ground. The ball is out. I believe the Wildcats have fallen on the football.
Yes, they have.
But the Red Tornadoes brought a blitz against Martin. The ball came out, but the Wildcats, for the 2nd time this drive, were able to fall on their own fumble. And it'll be 2nd and about 16 now.
And Martin's first option wasn't there, which is what allowed the Red Tornado pass rush to get there. It looked like Martin was trying to get that one out of his hands quick, and he wasn't able to. And that's where Clokus came up the middle, unblocked, a free rusher, and he got after it.
Martin hands it to Susan, and a nice play made there by, I think, is that Clokus?
Focus again.
Getting up off the bottom of the pile, but that's the end of the third quarter. So what's been an exciting 36 minutes of football is going to give us 12 more here as the Mifflinburg Wildcats lead the Red Tornadoes 34-32.
Yeah, and Jim, it's that time of the year where, we all say is, big third down here. This is going to be, for at least for the Red Tornado team, the biggest third down of the game. And probably followed up by the biggest fourth down of the game if they're able to get a third down stop.
Now again, unless Coach Botts has some thought in his head to kick, which I don't think he would here, because again, the five's not a whole lot different than 2 because the Red Tornadoes are unlikely to hit the field goal.
Right.
This is it's 4-down territory, so you've really got 2 plays to make up to 13 yards.
Absolutely right.
And that certainly goes into your play calling.
Yeah.
So you might have a play you really like to pick up 5 yards. So then you got to figure one to get 8. It's you don't have to pick up all 13 right here.
Yeah, I mean, I was thinking to myself that you might see Radwell Wilson on third down here, but he's on the sideline. So I think we're going to see the ball put in the hands of Martin for possibly 2 plays here to try and convert this drive and keep it moving.
Well, I think the one thing if you're the Wildcats is you want to avoid when Martin's run the ball so far this half, it's been very much like a student body right. It's a true QB sweep,
yeah.
And I think the Red Tornadoes are able to flow towards it and blow it up. Martin's been most dangerous.
Yeah, kind of in that scramble drill.
And the Red Tornadoes are going to start the fourth quarter with a timeout.
Had to be something they didn't like there.
So whatever it was, it's going to force the Red Tornadoes to rethink their defense here. And again, in a close game, you wonder if that timeout will prove, necessary late in the game.
Yeah, it's always something to think about. But, there is a I mean, if I'm the Red Tornadoes, I'm in the huddle right now scheming. We got to have eyes on 31. We got to have eyes on number 2, and we have to have eyes on number 19. The rest of everybody else's eyes should be on 19.
When you see for the Red Tornadoes there, that's the change. Number 7, Tate Adams, came out of the huddle, and number 70, Jagger Delaney, went into the huddle. So that's clearly a change in thought processes. Of course, Adams, a skilled and talented defensive back. Delaney's going to give you a little more beef on the defensive line.
Yeah. Yeah, so we'll have to see how they decide to line up here. Still going to be 3 down linemen. It's just going to be. We might see some pressure here from the Red Tornadoes.
Martin to throw. He's straight back. He has time. He rolls to his right. He steps up. He goes down. He's sacked. And I'm not sure. Delaney came in and provided pressure. Not sure who will be credited with that sack, but the Red Tornadoes certainly got pressure on Martin. Maybe cost him a yard.
Yeah.
And it's going to be 4th and 14 now, maybe. Back at, actually the ball still looks like it's about the 17-yard line. So maybe we'll call it 4th and 13.
Now I'm definitely switching my focus now to Murray and Griffiths. I mean, those are the guys that have gotten you here, at least on the receiving end.
Martin, straight back, under pressure, steps up in the pocket, and Shipko!
That's huge.
Down he goes. Delaney made him climb the pocket. Shipko finished it off, and what a huge stop for the Red Tornado defense.
Much needed stop for the Red Tornado defense. For one, to keep this from going to a 2-possession game, get the ball back for your offense, but 2, for your confidence. You've given up a lot of points up to this point in the game. Now when your back's against the wall, you step up and you make a big play. And it was that front 7 applying the pressure, and the defensive backs doing their job, holding their block or staying in coverage.
And Dan, in that situation, you wonder, I don't recall seeing Delaney on defense a lot tonight, if at all. Did the freshness of Delaney give him the ability to make some plays there on the line? But my goodness, the Wildcats aren't going anywhere either, as it's Martin and Tucker are going to drop Karicki in the backfield for a loss of 3.
Yeah, and that's, I think the Wildcats now know that the Red Tornado backs are looking for that bounce out. You know, they haven't had a lot of success up the middle, so now they're looking to bounce it outside. I think this one's going to have to be on the back of Marshalik here and that receiving core to get this team down the field.
Marshalik's look, and he missed Bailey. There were 3 blue jerseys in the area, only 1 white one. So it falls incomplete, and very quickly the Red Tornadoes face a 3rd and 12.
Yeah, and I mean, the good news is that did just fall incomplete. Because as you mentioned, there were a lot of blue jerseys in the area. You get a chance to play another down here and convert this 3rd down.
But it did look like on that play, just before the snap, the Wildcats moved their defense, and Delaney was uncovered.
Yeah.
Not the case at this point. It's 3rd and a dozen. Marshalik's got to make a play. And he's got Belichick. And did Belichick get to the sticks? We'll have to see.
I think he has it, Jim.
And he does. And that is a veteran play there by the senior. Belichick got to the sticks, turned around, and Marshalik put it on him.
A veteran play by Belichick, and a veteran play by Marshalik, knowing how long he had to wait for Belichick to get to his spot and where that ball needed to be placed. Just over the head of a Wildcat defender as well.
And now it's Cricky, and Cricky's got a little bit of room. Cricky across the 40 to the 44. It's another Red Tornado 1st down. And when there's a Red Tornado down in the backfield.
Let's see, I think that's Spears,
makes
Jim.
Me think, yeah, I agree with you.
I thought I saw the 5.
Yep.
Out there, and that's the only one on the offensive line without bumps in there that has a 5 in their number.
And 51, Ryan Bush, quickly in the huddle for the Big Red. Is again, we hope that whatever's going on with Spears is quickly addressed.
Yeah.
But you know, Dan, in these kind of situations, as we've got 10 minutes and 20 seconds left, the Red Tornadoes trail by 2. These big drives often you just have to get that first down, right?
Yep.
And it didn't look great for the Big Red.
No. You're looking at a 3rd and 12. You know, you're backed up in your own territory and you're down in the 4th quarter. You're not going to get much more pressure than that in a one play. But what they did was they called on the veteran. They called on the senior, Belichick, and they leaned on him, and they went to him, and he made it happen.
We're going to help Spears off the field. And so it's next man up for the Big Red. They had it in the backfield when Blessing goes down with Karicki and Kimsel, and now it'll be true on the offensive line. Well, it's been true on the offensive line, I should say, with losing Herb early, and now another one. This is an opportunity for Ryan Bush. Again, the 5'11", 200-pound sophomore. Come in and help the Red Tornadoes keep this moving. So when we get back in play here, as I said, 10-20 left in this one. It's 1st and 10 for Mount Carmel. Ball's at the 43-yard line. They trail by 2 here in Mifflinburg.
And it's going to be a tough assignment for Bush. It looks like he's got Schneck right over top of him.
And they're going to run right behind him. And Cricky still on his feet. And he can't. And Cricky's got a limp. He's going to go down. Cricky was very close to the 1st down, but he took a funny step.
Yeah.
And you could see it immediately, and he's going to make his way off the field.
I mean, that's a great run all around by Karicki, and just he is so shifty out there. And unfortunately, it looked like he caught a spike and came up a little limp, a little gimpy there. But he is electric, Jim.
And he was breaking to the outside there when he planted.
Oh yeah.
There's no telling where that was going to go, but it's a good run nevertheless. 2nd and 2. The screen is set up for Kimsel, but now Kimsel's got to make Griffith-Smith. He fights through it. It's still a good tackle made by 62 Xavier Kroll.
But I think he's going to have the 1st down, Jim. Or the referee on the opposite side seems a little bit ahead move the sticks.
And so he's saying first down, so they are going to move the sticks.
Right.
So a great effort by Kimzel
Yeah.
to evade Griffith and fall forward. So now they'll reset the play clock after the first down. Again, it's Bush and Delaney on the left side. Shiganowski and Shimko on the right. And that's Kimzel on the left side, and he's very close to another first down.
Yeah, again, right behind that left side there with Delaney and Bush. Did a great job just kind of sealing off that edge and letting Kimzel get upfield there.
Talking about the right and left, and it's 66 Gavin Demko in the middle. And Marshalik's going to hand it to Kimzel again, and he has a first down, and now he's going to be in a little bit of a foot race here. He's still on his feet. Tried to get the corner. The Wildcats did a good job cutting him off, but again, Kimzel's inside the 20.
It's a great run there by Kimzel. And a nice hole, and then just kind of feeling his way back out.
And the Big Red are going to get an illegal substitution penalty here against the, well, I guess not illegal substitution, too many men on the field.
Yeah.
For the Wildcats, is that up-tempo, hurry-up offense does not allow much opportunity to substitute, especially when the Red Tornadoes don't.
Yeah, right. Yeah, because they don't have no substitutions on their side. They don't have to allow the Wildcats to substitute, which results in that penalty.
So 1st and 5 now. The ball sits at about the 14. 8:25 and counting. Two to the right, one to the left for Marshalik, but it's Kimzel who picks his way, pick up a few.
Looks like he might get 2 there, and it didn't look like he had much.
Dan on 2nd and short. Now we don't often do this, but I'm trying to watch where Parker Marr is lining up.
Yeah.
Because I want to give Tate Adams a go ball.
Yeah.
I want to give him a shot to go make a play.
Looks like he's giving him a little bit of space, though. He's not right on top of him.
And
a nice first down.
A nice play made there, again, by 62 Kroll on Kimzel, and it'll stop him just short of the first down.
Yeah, that was a really nice play there because it looked like Kimzel had some space, and then he just somebody grabbed that ankle. And it was Kroll. He did a nice job.
Coach Dara jumping around. Adams to the sideline. Karicki goes in. The Red Tornadoes are going to go heavy. We'll see if Marshalik goes under center. And we've seen this before. My guess is 28 up the middle. And he gets down to the 5-yard line, so big first down on 3rd and 1.
Great job by Bailey, just staying on his feet there. He ran into, the back of an offensive lineman, stayed on his feet, and did a great job working his way out of
Bailey
trouble.
again showing off the moves, but the Wildcats will be there and stand him up. Maybe get a yard, but it's 2nd and goal from the 4.
Now, Jim, you asked the question. A 2-point game inside the 5. What's the call on 4th down?
Did you ever hear when they asked Ted Williams how he hit a curveball?
You hit the fastball.
Now it's going to be 3rd down, and so that's my answer to that.
Yeah.
You try to take the 4th down off the table here.
Yeah, I agree. That's definitely what you want to do here. But you got a pretty stout defense on the other side trying to do the opposite.
Halfway mark here in the 4th quarter. What a ball game. Red Tornadoes trail by 2. 3rd and goal from the 4. Red Tornadoes open it back up a little bit here. Marshalik to throw, and it's incomplete. A great play made over there. I think that's Donlin.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so.
Well, Dan, we're going to get an answer here.
Yeah.
And it's not the answer that I thought.
Watch watch here, Jim. We saw it happen in North Schuylkill. For North Schuylkill. Watch a hard count. I know there's no opportunity for a first down here, but you want to get this closer if you can, any possibility.
It's about 22 yards for Shoppy. Not much more than an extra point. It's a good snap. It's a good hold, and the kick is up. And he drilled it. He drilled it from 22 yards out. Shoppy. The Red Tornadoes take the lead 35-34.
Wow.
And what a huge play by number 42.
And Jim, that play is big twofold there for the Red Tornadoes. Not only do you take the lead, so if your defense is able to come out here and get a stop, you have the capability of running out the clock and winning this game. But also, there's no chance to make this a two-possession game if the Wildcats do go down here and score.
Well,
there may not have been a chance before that. My math, not my strong suit. I know football.
Nope, you're right. You're right. Give yourself a little credit, big fella.
All right. Yeah, but I mean, the most important thing is the lead. Now, the defense has to protect it.
Now, trailing on the scoreboard tonight, it's not necessarily an unknown place for the Wildcats. They trailed by as many as 13 at a couple different intervals early and fought their way back. Behind Martin's composure. Shoppy's kick is going to go out of bounds again. So it'll be 1st and 10 from the 35. And that one checked up a little bit. I thought maybe it wouldn't get to the sideline, but
it did. That first bounce was you saw kind of everybody on that left side that was in a white jersey hit their second gear when that ball took that first bounce. But then it, just nicely rolled out.
5:39 remaining. It's a 1-point lead. The Red Tornadoes on top 35-34.
And Shoppy's going to re-kick this. The coach does have that option to take a re-kick with a 5-yard penalty, as opposed to the ball at the 35-yard line. So now, that's a lot of faith in your return man, and rightfully so. I mean, it's well-placed faith considering they've taken one to the house already.
It's an interesting decision. The nice thing, this is one of those choices that you get to judge it immediately.
Yes, yes you do.
We're going to see a play here, and it'll immediately determine if it was positive or a net negative. Good kick from Shoppy. It's going to be Murray at the 10. He's going to go off the right side. He's still on his feet. And so by about 2 yards, it's the right call.
Yeah.
As a good return by Murray gets you to the 37.
Yeah, I mean, if Murray goes down at the initial point of contact there, it's a bad call, but because he didn't want to make his coach look bad.
This is a results business, right?
I'm sure Murray may have had something to do with the reason that ball got re-kicked as well, considering his success so far this game.
Martin takes the play in. Stoltzfus heads in as well. Again, we've seen Stoltzfus largely in the pass packages.
Yes. Now the Red Tornadoes, your defensive backs need to play clean, and you've got to contain Martin. That's the goal here.
Susan in the sidecar. It's going to be Susan off the right side, and he's not going to go anywhere. It's like Clokus and Delaney getting up off the bottom of the piles. And Clokus continues to show out.
Yeah. In his, we talked about it. This is his first start of his young career. He's gotten plenty of playing time through the first 2 weeks, and he's shown enough to earn that spot in the middle. And I think he's shown enough today so far to keep it.
Under 5 minutes, 2nd and 9, ball's at the 38. Martin drop back to throw. He's got a pocket, and he's looking for Donlin, who takes a shot He hangs on to the football.
Yeah, Kimsel just drove on the ball and made a great hit.
It's going to be 3rd and about 6.
And now you see Bailey and I believe that was Delaney to the sidelines. And you get Morgani in there.
And Adams.
And Adams. You get that those extra defensive backs. You're counting on your front 3 to provide enough pressure, and your outside linebackers, which would be Morgani and I think Belichick, to contain Martin.
Martin under pressure immediately. He steps up in the pocket, and he's hit high. Incomplete.
And that's
all kinds of pressure from the Big Red.
Yeah, I mean, he was forced up into the pocket and just into Noah Shimko. And that's a big man to step up into. Credit to Martin just getting that ball out as he kind of took one across the neck. Looked like an old-fashioned WWE clothesline there.
Well, and Dan, and you said it, when the Red Tornadoes make that change defensively and bring in the coverage, it's really putting the expectation on your line to generate something, and my goodness, did they ever.
Yeah, and credit to, I know it was Morgani on our side that provided the pressure and kind of got Martin to step up in the pocket. He wanted to get out.
Wildcats going to use their first time out of the second half there to let the play clock run all the way down, and Coach Botts and company will talk about it. Clock stops at 4:03 remaining here in the 4th quarter.
I mean, Jim, we've talked about it at different moments throughout the season. It's only week 3. We're only in the 12th quarter of football that we've seen so far. But this will be the biggest 4th down of the season so far. 100% the biggest 4th down of the season.
Wish we could track how many times we come across the biggest play of the season.
Oh, it's going to be multiple times a game. I'll tell you, that's for sure.
So now the Red Tornadoes first out of their huddle. Again, feeling a little bit of the momentum right now, I think.
Yeah, I'd say they're feeling the momentum, and they're. This is the first time that this defense looks confident out there. This defense looks like they know what they have to do, and they're going to do it. They've been able to contain Martin this entire half. Can they do it for one more play?
And remember, this is 27-26 at the half.
Yeah.
It's 9-8 in the second half.
Right.
Or 9-7, excuse me. So here we go, 4th and 6. Martin to throw. Here comes the blitz. He's high and wide for Griffith. It's a turnover on downs. The Big Red take over. 1st and 10 at the 43-yard line with under 4 minutes to play and a 1-point lead.
And, Jim, that is such a great job by number 30, John Morgani. He was bringing the pressure off the edge. He came free. He met the blocker, which was the back in the backfield, but he didn't try to run through him. He didn't try to make a crazy play in the backfield. He broke down, made sure Martin knew that he was there, but he didn't allow Martin any route for escape. Martin had to throw that football under duress, and it paid off for the Red Tornadoes.
And now the Red Tornadoes will get a quick 5 there.
Yes, they will.
As the Wildcats jump. They've been pretty, the Wildcat defensive line has been pretty stoic tonight.
Yeah.
When Marshall employs the hard count, but again, perhaps sensing the need to make a play, a little over anxious on that one.
And Jim, I'm thankful that the Wildcats did that, because I'm pretty sure last week I said that we've seen this happen at least once in every game over the last few years, and this was going to be the one that it hadn't.
So it's 1st and 5 now. It's a high snap. Marshall pulls it down. It's Karicki. Karicki's still going. I lost track of Karicki. He has a 1st down for the Red Tornadoes.
Jim, he has a 1st down, and I think he stayed in bounds. There was like a wrestling match along the sideline over there. We'll have to see if they run the clock after the ball's set, but I think he stayed in.
You're right, Dan, as the head official in the back here is giving us the wind the clock, so we're at 3:40 and counting. 20 seconds on the play clock. Marshall goes for the hard count again. Gets a little motion, but not enough to merit an infraction. 6-5 on the play clock. Marshall takes a snap. It's Karicki again. Now a nice play made
By Martin.
By Martin, of course.
You know, he's making a statement out there on defense. They hemmed him in on offense so far this second half. He's not going to be stopped on the defensive side of the ball.
Red Tornadoes are going to be able to milk this down to about 2:35 or so when they have to snap it again. As you see, the big red band always in attendance, always putting on terrific performances, doing their best to support the team. That's used to do lighters, right? But
Yeah.
now it's cell phones. Better. They're better for you.
Yeah.
Karicki off the left side. Not much there for him.
Let's say there's
And
not
a timeout here by the Wildcats as the Red Tornadoes are going to face 3rd and 9. 2:33 left here at Memorial Stadium.
Yeah. And what a game so far, Jim. This has been unbelievable. I mean, this game has been back and forth all the way. You know, you've got your stars on both sides of the ball. Just wanted to mention too, really great to see Cooper Karicki back in the game after going down on the previous drive. He's done so much work for the team this week and over these past 2 weeks. Don't want to see a guy like that miss too much time. So good to see him back out on the field. Now, Coach Darrow's got a decision here, Jim.
What would that be?
Do you put the ball in the air?
Yeah.
I think so too.
Well,
the Wildcats still have a timeout remaining. So you run the ball and you don't get the first down. They use that timeout. And then you've got another decision to make.
Well, and I think the other piece of this, at least from my standpoint, is I don't know the numbers. I don't have the numbers. But these quick passes to Delaney are almost automatic. So I don't think you run the risk. It's not too much of a risk of the football hitting the turf.
Right.
But we'll see if Coach Darrow agrees. As it's Kimsel back there. They'll try the hard count. No motion. Bailey still in there in the fullback, that slot position. Adams by himself to the left, but he's tight. And it's Kimsel. And Kimsel he's got the first down. Kimsel, I told you to run the football.
and Jim, that one might be enough to seal it.
It's going to get very interesting here. Do some quick math once they start the clock.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not. If I'm coaching right now, I'm not telling my offense that I don't want to show them that we're playing not to lose at this point. I still want to run some plays. I still want to punch another one in here if possible.
Be about 150 when they snap it. Ball security paramount here for the Red Tornadoes. And it's Kimsel off the left side. And he's still on his feet. He's going to be slung down hard about the 10-yard line.
Jim, there's so much movement in that second level of the Wildcat defense. I mean, there's multiple guys coming up and you know, feinting a blitz back and forth, especially when we're using the whole play clock. You see it happen multiple times, and that's the game within the game. 100% credit to the offensive line for, you know, not jumping off sides with all that pressure.
Ball just inside the 10. Now I think the Red Tornadoes are going to call a timeout. They're going to use every second they got here. And Coach Darrell will use his second timeout of the half. So it'll stop the clock with 1 minute and 7 seconds left. The Red Tornadoes lead 35-34, and they have the football. 2nd and 6 on the Wildcat 9.
Yeah.
And again, we've said it before. We'll say it again. We want to thank tonight's sponsor, Mount Carmel Community Center, for their support and patronage. This WKMC TV broadcast. This is a Heartland Athletic Conference Division II matchup. And my goodness, if you're not here or you're not watching this, I don't know what else you're doing, because this is as good as it gets.
Yeah, absolutely it is. This has been a high-intensity football game from start to finish. It's been chippy at times. You know, it's been a game. Like this has been just a very back and forth. A lot of different stuff has happened throughout this game, and we've seen some tremendous output from multiple players on both sides of the ball.
Kimsel to Marshalek's left. And it's Kimsel, the ball's on the ground. And Kimsel falls on it. My goodness.
Wow.
And now the Wildcats are going to use their last timeout of the game. So there's 58 seconds left. It's 3rd and 9 for the Big Red. Now from about the, I'm going to call that, Dan, maybe the 13.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd say so. It was about a 2-yard loss.
Maybe the 12.
But the wherewithal from Kimsel to get back on that ball after it hit the ground.
So here's a question for you. Let's do the math quick. So if the Red Tornadoes run this play, forget what happens, right? Just assume a tackle inbound short of the first down. If the play takes 2 to 3, say it takes 4 seconds, gives us 54 seconds left.
Yeah.
The Red Tornadoes have another timeout, and they have a 40-second play clock.
Yeah.
So you assume you can get it down under 15 seconds before you snap it.
I think that's fair. And at that point, I would snap it to Marshalik about 7 or 8 yards deep, and let him try it. Or just in the regular shotgun.
Let him throw it straight up in the air. All right, so here we go. Big 3rd and 9. It's Kimsel. And Kimsel falls. He gets very close to the first down.
I think he might have it, Jim. We're going to see.
Waiting for the official signal, but if he's got it, it's over.
You going to have an official timeout for measurement?
I don't think he's going to have it.
I think he's going to be short. About a full yard short, actually.
Yep. So 44 seconds, though, but the play clock is at 40. So, again, now it winds. There's about a 3-second difference between the shot, shot clock and the game clock.
Yeah, the play clock.
The play clock and the game clock. So, again, I assume Coach Darrow will take his final timeout at the last possible second. And then, Dan, to your point, though, this does get to a situation where if you can get Marshall to take a snap, take 4 or 5 steps backwards, it might be just enough.
And take a knee.
To run that clock out.
I think so. Now that you'll be at or below 5 seconds, right at 5 seconds, essentially. .7 seconds on their clock. We'll see if the officials agree. Sometimes, they'll add a second here or there, just depending on when the timeout came in. But that kind of matched the quick under
math
5 seconds.
Doing.
It's going to be under 5.
Doesn't look like they're turning around to change the time.
No. I mean, really, even if you don't want to have Marshalik, run backwards, just get him take the snap in shotgun and run up the middle with a lead blocker. Tell him don't go down. Try everything in your power to not go down.
What if you have him run to the sideline even?
Yeah, you could also do that.
Laterally.
Yeah.
So you have to see what happens here.
Or take a shot to the end zone. I'm just saying, because no matter what happens, unless there's a pick 6, the game's going to end after that ball's thrown.
Marshallik's going to go under center. So you've thrown me off already, Coach.
Yeah.
Good snap. Marshall runs back. He runs back. He's still on his feet. And then he goes down, and that's it. 0's on the clock. The Red Tornadoes survive. My goodness.
And that's gonna hurt the Marshallik's average yards per carry there. I don't know if that's gonna go down as a sack or a run for a loss, but can't take anything away from the rushing attack of the Red Tornadoes today, and just the timely passing plays. I mean, all around offensively, the Red Tornadoes did a tremendous job today. Defensively, there's a lot of penalties, a lot of things that need to be cleaned up, but they stepped up when they needed to.
What a tremendous night here.
Yeah.
And so I think what we've seen so far from these Red Tornadoes, Dan, and I think, again, there's certainly things, as you said, that need to be cleaned up, and there's some maybe not so great aspects of tonight that can be focused on if you wanted to go that route.
Yeah.
On the other side of it, though, which I think is equally as important, if not more important, this is now the second time in 3 weeks that I think we've seen this team really respond when they're down on the scoreboard.
Absolutely.
Now, at North Schuylkill, of course, they weren't able to come all the way back.
They
but
were
there's
also
there's
down by a significant margin at that
right.
point.
But there's a grit there that you have to develop to kind of have success later in the season.
Yep.
And so, this is a team where if they're able to kind of continue on this path and perhaps, have some postseason opportunities, if they do get to a spot where they get punched in the mouth early,
yeah,
they know how to battle back.
Absolutely, they do. You're right, Jim. And that's I mean, sometimes that, like, even taking the loss to North Schuylkill, developing that early in the season and seeing that in your team makes you feel really good moving forward. And then it pays off in games like this. Games like this where it is back and forth all game long, and you're within striking distance all day long of taking that lead back. You have the lead. You take it back. You give it up. You take it back. It's that North Schuylkill game set the tone for the way that the defense and offense responded for this game tonight. And that's why they were able to come out of here with a victory.
Again, the Red Tornadoes gave up 27 points in the first half and 7 in the second. Now, there's a lot of stats and numbers that go along with those scores. And, again, thanks to Jose, I think we have them, Dan.
Yeah. So we'll start off with the Red Tornadoes. 54 rushing attempts for 337 yards.
Okay.
Cooper Karicki, 27 attempts for 241 yards. And, obviously, all these numbers are unofficial currently. But 27 for 241. 15 of 23 passing for Marshallek for 164. 25 first downs. That's a jump. That's 12 first. That's averaging 12 and a half first downs a half. He had 13 in the first half. So just a tremendous job there. And then on the other side, the Wildcats, 33 rushing attempts for 133 yards, 9 of 17 passing for 190, 16 first downs. And I just want to reference the first half numbers here for the Wildcats. 90 yards rushing in the first half, and they finished with 133. So it's a great job by the Red Tornado defense responding and containing Martin. Martin had most of those yards just on scrambles, getting out of the pocket, evading pressure. They contained him in the second half, and that was the difference in the game.
And just to talk about the Wildcats for a second here. So this is a team that when they wake up tomorrow morning, they're going to be 0-3, unfortunately. But Dan, in week 1 and week 3, they're 1-point losses apiece.
Yeah.
You can't get any closer. So, again, we talked about the grit the Red Tornadoes showed. The Wildcats certainly brought everything they had and left it out on the field and should continue to be a problem for anybody they encounter throughout the season.
Yeah.
Again, for the Red Tornadoes, next week is the big week. Next week is the Southern Columbia game. Not sure exactly how that game finished for the Tigers with Milton, but again, they were up, I think, 35-7 in the third quarter.
Yeah.
An interesting thing, kind of a quirky thing about the Wildcats' schedule. Wildcats are going to have 4 of their first 5 games of the season be at home.
Oh.
And so the flip side of that is 4 out of 5 are on the road. But again, nevertheless, and next week the Wildcats are back here again at they're back here at Wildcat Stadium with Montoursville coming to visit. So we want to I don't know if we got any stats. We don't usually always have the defensive stats, but again, I think it was a good night. Clokus, certainly he showed out, and try to get those stats as soon as we can on defensive stuff. But, well, what do you think, Dan, here? It seems like a good place to maybe wrap up tonight's broadcast.
Yeah, I think so.
Saw the Red Tornadoes emerge victorious over the Mifflinburg Wildcats in just quite a night, 35-34, with the deciding factor being a 22-yard field goal from Bobby Shoppy. We want to thank tonight's sponsor, the Mount Carmel Community Center, and all of you for spending your Friday night with us. Again, next week, the Red Tornadoes will be back at the Silver Bowl facing the Southern Columbia Tigers. So, I'm Jim Lesko.
And I'm Dan Lesko.
And for Jose Gonzalo, this has been a WKMC TV broadcast. Thanks for spending your Friday night with us. We hope you join us next week. Good night.